I don't know.
Okay. Because it kept showing me, then it showed a little exclamation point on Facebook. And I said, no, we can't be not live on Facebook. A whole lot of crap.
Do what? .616. Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. It is sports time right about now. LSU baseball back at it in the box, taking on, got a little top 10 action going on tonight, taking on number 8 Oklahoma for a 3-game set, a Thursday, Friday, Saturday set in the box this weekend. First game is tonight, 7 p.m. It'll start at 6:30 over on our sister station, Eagle 98.1. Head coach Jay Johnson says LSU's pitching staff going to need to limit long innings against the Sooners because they've got a talented offense. Cut 16.
They have a definite style in how they play, and you have to dictate how the game's played against them, or they can really get going with some good momentum on offense.
I know the midweek game against Grambling is probably not the best barometer to determine if your team is improving or not, but I would like to point back to Tuesday evening where LSU had 8 pitchers throw in some capacity for a combined 3 walks. They gave up a couple of cheap singles throughout the evening, but in that 7-1 win on Tuesday night against Grambling, you could definitely see more strikes were thrown than over the previous weekend, percentage-wise. So, good to see right there. Now, LSU's defense ranks 14th in the SEC, as of course, out of 16 teams. Their fielding percentage is .964. Coach Johnson says the Tigers need to be a lot more solid on defense, especially this weekend.
This is as fast of team as I've ever seen. The ball goes on the ground. It's going to be a close play at first base. Good job by Oklahoma, recruiting athletic players, eliminating the free bases, pitching well, super important. And then obviously handling the ball in the infield will be super important with this team.
I'm not as worried about the fielding percentage as some. When you talk about .964 fielding percentage, you're talking about you want to be over like .975, which is literally the difference between 2 errant throws from the beginning of the season till now. And that doesn't bother me nearly as much. And the ball has bounced weird on LSU a couple of times so far. I gave you another great example. Was Tuesday night against Grambling. Another great example from the same game. The very first batter out of the box strikes out, ball gets out of Omar Cerna's hands, but gets out of his glove, I should say. And where the ball squirted out to, with the base runner going up to the first baseline, Cerna was not able to reposition himself to be able to get an out. He had to sling that ball up the first baseline and ended up plunking the guy in the back. All right, well, there's an error. Now, the question then becomes, why'd you get crossed up to drop the ball in the first place? That's a reasonable question to ask. But, I mean, on the back end of it, though, did that happen again that night? No. Cerna missed a couple more, but no more on the error side for the rest of the night. So things get cleaned up. I'm not super concerned about the fielding percentage. Meanwhile, on the bump for Oklahoma tonight will be Cam Johnson. If you recognize that name, that is because, yes, he was a former Tiger. Jay Johnson says he's looking forward to seeing Cam this weekend.
I thought he was always a great talent. I really like Cam. I like his family. You get 8 billion texts after you win the national championship. His dad, Steve, texted me within a day or two. I'm happy that he's found some success.
Like we said, first pitch for 7 p.m., Chris Blair, Doug Thompson will be on the call at 6:30. It is 6:20 at Talk 107.3 FM. Here's the Fox Business Report.
Good morning, y'all. Small issues this morning, but we're back.
Morning.
Busy day yesterday?
Jesus. Dude. Yeah, when I bumped out of Rotary, I went back downtown, then came back home again, and then went back downtown again. When I came back home again, squeezed in a workout. Yeah, I had 2 stops at LED. I missed my stop at Nexus, which, by the way, we need to get Tony Sanders as a Rotary speaker. The stuff they're doing at Nexus is ridiculous. And then there were 3 different receptions last night, legislative receptions last night. So I got home at 9:00 last night. But that's been like literally 9:00. It was not the latest I've been home this week. It was Monday I got home about 8:30. Tuesday I got home at 11. Last night was 9:00.
But not every week's like this, correct? You
Legislative session is.
Goodness.
The legislative parties used to be so out of control.
Yeah.
I don't know if they still are.
No, they're not. They're relatively tame now. Well, no, I don't go to the after party stuff though. I leave that to the people that don't have to be up at 3:45.
When I was in college, I interned.
Well, I need to do the traffic, Breland.
That's said yesterday. I'm sorry.
That's all right. All right, let's head on back to the traffic center real quick. We are seeing some slowdowns on I-10. This is I-10 westbound heading across the Mississippi River Bridge to the west side. It's looking like on the upslope of the bridge, you're going to slow down a good bit. Keeping it with the interstates right now, let's move over to 12 westbound coming in from Denham Springs. The Range Avenue exit, it's got the normal delays that we see about this time on a Thursday morning out by Denham. Other than that, the rest of the interstate systems are looking pretty good. Want to touch back on, well, I say that. I'm showing an accident on 12 westbound by Sherwood, in between Millerville and Sherwood, is on my board, but I'm not showing any delays as a result of it. So it's up there on the board if it might start to cause some problems. It's been up there for about 10 minutes right now, but no added volume as a result of it. And then also on the interstates, there's an accident from about 25 minutes ago on 110 southbound at Evangeline. But again, no congestion, no delays as a result of that accident. Just it's on the board, so I tell you about it. There are no surface street accidents to report. That's your look at traffic from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center. .624 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. We got we're gonna dive back in just a second on a couple of different things. First, I need to tell you about the folks over at Landmark Bank. LandmarkBankLA.com is the website. This is about that time of year where we're a good 3 months in the year, 2.5 months in the year, right? This is about that time of year where your taxes are being filed. You might have a return coming back your way. And when you see that money, you might look to pair it up with other money. What are you doing with it? Well, if you've got a community bank like Landmark Bank, this is a great opportunity to sit down with somebody and talk about those plans, talk about those dreams. Having a banker makes all the difference, makes all the difference in the world. Whether you're talking about, do I want to start investing? Do I want to, take my current investments and start looking at my retirement? Am I looking at maybe, is it time for my kid to start their first savings account? You name it, they've got it covered. Now, they are a community bank, so you'll want to go to landmarkbankla.com, hit the About Us tab, that little drop-down menu right there that will show you locations and hours. You find a Landmark Bank in your community, make sure you take part with a community bank, landmarkbankla.com. It is 6:25 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. We will get back into some headlines in just a quick minute. I do want to give you the rundown for the show, though. Haggai Davis in the house. Going to do a cup of tech gumbo in our next couple segments. Going to blow out top stories and trending at 7:05. Senator Bill Cassidy, I'm able to get about 7 minutes in with him with some updates on the Save America Act and what he's working on right now. 7:15, Adonica Duggan from the Baton Rouge Alliance for Students going to join us. 7:35, we're going to have Don Coppola on the hotline for Crimestoppers. See if we can't catch a couple bad guys right there. And then 8:05 or 8:06 technically, the Deputy Secretary of Energy for the United States of America, James Danley, is going to join us. He was on with us in late February as there were some announcements coming down. He's going to join us today to talk about LNG, some stuff going on in Plaquemines Parish. I'm looking forward to this conversation because, well, in part, Plaquemines Parish held a legislative reception yesterday evening, so I was able to get a lot of background information on where we're headed on the LNG front, specifically with Venture Global. Looking forward to talk with James Danley about what Louisiana's role is in the energy world, especially right now amidst the attacks going on in Iran. David Cresson, head of LCA, going to join us at 8:15. Very much looking forward to that conversation. There's a lot. Well, first of all, they opened up. This is the fifth time I've said first of all this segment. They opened up our new headquarters yesterday. We'll talk about that. They're in the midst of a rebrand. We'll talk about that, and then we'll get into some legislative issues as well, as there's a lot going on at the Capitol. Going to wrap up talking AI with Doug Kelly from American Edge Project. So we got a stacked up show for you, y'all. We are ready to just rock and roll. Now, that being said, come 11 o'clock this morning, is your office going to be pretty much dialed out? One of my favorite days of the year is March Madness. Is the Thursday and Friday of March Madness. And things get rolling in earnest at, like I said, sorry, I said 11. It's 11:15 is when we'll see tip-off for the first game. TCU and Ohio State are going to be going at it at 11:15. And then from there, it's just the day takes over. It's just nonstop, wall-to-wall basketball. Now, y'all, I'm a basketball fan. Like, basketball is my first love. I know we're in a football town. And I know baseball runs second and basketball runs a distant third, but I grew up just a basketball guy and am so today. Just love everything about the sport. And when you can give me, 16 games in one day, sign me up. Sign me up twice. So here's the question, and I want your response over on Facebook Live. We are live on Facebook every morning, courtesy of the folks at Lake Urgent Care. Here's a question I want to ask you over on Facebook Live. How much does March Madness take over today and tomorrow in your office? Follow-up question, obviously a lot more easy of a question to answer. Have you filled out a bracket? And how many? And should you be allowed to fill out more than one? Now, when I say fill out more than one, I don't mean like signing up for ESPN's contest and signing up for, I believe we have a contest going on 104.5 or going over to CBS or Fox Sports. But like, should you be picking different winners every time you fill out a bracket? Just to kind of spread your chances around? Let's talk over on Facebook Live. I want to get that conversation going just a little bit. The early report cards in from the state legislature are so far so good. The week and a half into the session. What we're looking at right now is so far smooth sailing. Been talking to a lot of folks over in the Capitol over the last 2 days or so, and hearing back that with the governor not pushing a heavy package so far this year, the governor's got a package of bills, but it's primarily a member-driven session. With things being set up that way, it's off to a smooth start. We haven't seen any real contention yet over anything that's moving forward. Now, that being said, next week and the week after, all you know what's going to hit the fan. Because next week and the week after is when carbon capture is going to start hitting committee. This is one of the things we'll be talking about with David Cresson coming up at 8:15. Is where does that go? It's one of the things we talked about yesterday with Daniel Earthbomber from the Pelican Institute, talking about Chinese money coming in an anti-carbon capture front. We're talking about battle lines being drawn politically, not scientifically. That's all coming your way, not just here, but across town as well. Here's news. Oh, good morning, Christy.
I was looking at that Saronic website.
Do I?
I was looking at Saronic's website last night.
Yeah, I saw you included in the notes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did you see the Marauder? Is that not a badass?
Go a long way on single charge.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was joking with the guy. He's like, no more crews have to be out at sea, and I was like, no more Somali pirates get to take them over. It's like, well, we probably avoid those waters, and I'm like, even if you don't, what's a pirate going to do versus a computer? I just
He's going to shoot the panel,
right. No, ship's just going to keep on going. Huh? What? Who's he working with?
Louisiana's film industry celebrates sinners for its 4 Oscar win this week. Louisiana President Jason Wagensback said that
I was talking with him yesterday. I've got Vandy in that one.
Vandy the 12 seed.
McNeese is 12 seed. Vandy's 5.
Oh, yeah. Got to pick a 12 seed to win.
Yeah. It's not that one.
Yeah. McNeese doesn't have Will Wade coaching anymore.
That's why I'm picking Vandy. Buttholes.
So where do you want to start? You want to go?
Let's start with ceramics.
Okay.
You're not dressed for a lunch banquet.
I wouldn't invite it.
Aw.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah,
They might only have like limited seating.
you probably do.
That's totally okay.
Do another one of those you and Moon things.
Do what?
You and Moon doing luncheons again, or
We're gonna start that pretty soon. but it's gonna be different because we're gonna have Eric Erickson with us. No, today's the Louisiana Association of Broadcasters Awards. So, and I got an invite very, very early, so I think I won.
Cool.
Yeah. 636 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. I'm debating in my head right now whether or not we want to do a cup of tech gumbo, but I'm also kind of debating whether or not I just want to pick Haggai's brain so we can compare brackets. I don't know. Let's roll with tech gumbo. What you say, Haggai?
So I'm glad you're ready. You didn't want to go down the bracket thing yet because I haven't done mine yet. I'm a last minute bracket guy.
Same. And it's because I just go back. If I'm an Enneagram 6, I don't make up my mind very well. So
I flip a coin.
Yeah, I have trouble picking which of the Cinderellas is going to be the right Cinderella.
I always pick all the 12s.
You pick all the 12s because you know at least one of them will advance.
Absolutely.
But that means you're missing 3.
Exactly.
Like right out the blocks.
Oh, yeah.
And we do a weighted bracket, meaning like you get rewarded for picking upsets when it comes to the point structure.
Okay.
So, yeah. Like, you get 1 point in the first round, 2 in the second, blah, blah, blah. No, if you go with a 12 over a 5, you're getting the point differential.
Nice.
Yeah. It definitely challenges you to not just take chalk the whole way through and win the bracket on the first weekend, and then just coast until the end. So, yeah, I can't take my eyes off California Baptist, and I don't know why. Unreal. We got business to tend to. I was out at the state capitol yesterday. Well, no, let me rephrase that. I was next to the state capitol yesterday. LED's got a new hub. I don't want to call it their offices because it's not. It's their new innovation center. It is amazing.
Really?
I left the book upstairs. They gave me a little booklet on the way out. Left the booklet upstairs. But you want to talk about selling the state. Susan Bourgeois, I cannot be more of a fanboy of our economic development secretary than I am.
She's got skins on the wall.
She has $93 billion worth.
Yeah.
That's looking to, over the course of the next 3 years, roughly increase by roughly 50% the median salary in the state. Well, based off of the new jobs that are coming in. That's not going to do it overall, but of the jobs that are coming in, those are going to be above that. Not everybody else, but she is just kicking ass and taking names.
That's great.
And
love that.
Dating back to last year before the Super Bowl, when they had the Louisiana Now tent outside the Morial Convention Center, and people just stop by to visit and learn not just what we're doing in football, but what we're doing in business. She brought that up to Washington Mardi Gras this year. And now we've got this Louisiana Now push going where she's looking for Louisiana storytellers to tell Louisiana stories. And it's been amazing. Well, I was over there at the new Innovation Hub, Innovation Lab, whatever it's called, yesterday. And I met a guy from Saronic Technologies. And I left his business card in my jacket pocket. So I gotta remember that before I send that jacket to the dry cleaners. But because I want to get him on the show. They're building out the future of overseas shipping, global shipping, and it's autonomous. And as soon as I'm talking to this guy, I'm like, I got to put this guy in front of Haggai because I want him on my Business Weekly podcast. And he probably needs to be on Tech Gumbo as well.
Yeah, I was, you sent me the text last night talking about it, and I was looking at some of these ships, and this one ship, this Marauder, it completely autonomous electric vehicle, has a range of 5,400 nautical miles on a single charge.
Right.
That's not bad.
No.
I mean, that gets you across the Atlantic.
Yeah.
And you got nobody on board to worry about. I mean, you hit the go button and it takes off.
The Marauder is the ship that they're making down in Franklin, or they will be making down in Franklin, Louisiana. Can you imagine in this world that the future of global shipping will come out of St. Mary Parish?
Well, yes, because it has been for quite some time.
No. You were supposed to say exactly what you said.
Oh, well, it's the wrong end of the
and
parish.
not even the good side.
Yeah,
damn it.
the wrong end of the parish. That's Hannity's side, or Henniger's side. That's Hanny's side of the parish. This, Franklin being on the western part of St. Mary Parish, I'm from the eastern side. But this thing has 150 metric ton payload.
Yeah.
That's
180 feet long.
Yes. That's
Dude, that's
massive.
90 yards. No, it's not.
180 feet.
That's
That's
60 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Sorry.
still really big.
Yeah.
And, big enough to get a whole lot of cargo here and there. And to do it out of Franklin, I mean, Morgan City has a much bigger port, much better access to the Gulf. So that's why I was kind of surprised they did it in Franklin. But, at least it's in Louisiana.
Well, I mean, Franklin's got that straight shot up the Intracoastal, though, don't they?
They're on the Intracoastal. Yes, it goes through it. But and there's an outlet going down to the Gulf from there. But Morgan City's got much bigger. They got Conrad shipyards down there, number one,
Sure.
which is massive.
Sure. Well, then let's grow them out as well.
Absolutely.
And let this thing do its thing, because
Sure.
as I'm learning about the ship called the Marauder, as I'm learning about it, I'm getting more and more fired up about it. This when you talk about autonomous vehicles, every time you and I have talked about it, we've talked about it as cars.
Absolutely. And to have somebody like my son, Haggai III, who has this PhD in autonomous vehicles. I mean, we were kind of chatting about this last night too, and he was very much intrigued with the whole shipping being autonomous kind of stuff, because everything he's done is the trucks, 18-wheelers being autonomous and everything.
Right.
That's his specialties. But he was just as intrigued as this, because it's using the technology that he's been studying for so long and working with to move freight.
Right. And one of the things that I've always been hesitant with when it comes to the autonomous vehicle world, two things. The first one is the streets in Louisiana. An autonomous vehicle can, it hit a pothole just like anybody else can. But the other thing is the unpredictability of the other drivers around them. And I know there's build-ins that protect from that and whatnot, but there's still that, the chaos theory that goes into it. When you talk about something as expansive as the ocean, a lot of that goes away.
Well, sure it does. And, this thing, obviously, they're going to have all the sensors in the world on these things. So it's going to know when any other vehicle is within whatever distances, and it's just going to go do its thing. It doesn't have to worry about crews getting seasick or even feeding crews and
Right.
all of those kinds of things. It's all electric, so your costs go down on shipping.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a really fascinating idea that these ships, and very sleek looking vehicle too.
It is smooth looking.
And I mean, and there's several different versions that they're doing. Some for the military, these little this Cutlass class. It's only a 14-foot boat, but it just can deploy troops. It can do all kind of stuff. They can bring payloads to different places. They're building some cool boats.
We I'm looking at this and I'm intrigued, but at the same time, Haggai, I'm not surprised. And I'm going to steal this from the presentation they had at LED yesterday. Was Louisiana has always delivered ships.
Oh yeah,
We don't win World War II without Louisiana.
absolutely.
We don't win World War II without not just the Higgins boat, but the diesel that was in the Higgins boat that got it there.
Absolutely.
So now we're talking about moving to autonomous vehicles. So you don't have boots on the ground in the Higgins boat, but what you do have is the know-how to build it right and the know-how to make the advancements right here in our backyard.
Well, you look at all the shipyards that we have across South Louisiana.
Oh, yeah.
Down below Houma along Highway 1.
Mhm.
You got Schwest and all those companies down there. All the shipyards in New Orleans.
Bollinger, yeah.
Bollinger. I mean, you've got so being able to build ships, we're as close as we are to the Gulf of Mexico. It kind of makes sense that
Yeah.
you don't build these kind of ships in Iowa. So this is really cool that we're a state, as a state, jumping on this kind of bandwagon early on and doing some cool things.
Well, but the thing is, Haggai, we're not jumping on the bandwagon. The bandwagon's ours.
Yes. Well,
the rest of the world needs to jump on with us.
That's a better way of putting it. Yes.
Yeah, we built the damn bandwagon, and then we launched it into the sea.
Absolutely.
So it's just, I don't know. This is it's a really cool looking ship, and I feel like there is no ceiling on the potential.
Yeah. SARONIC.com, Saronic.com. Go check out their website. Their headquarters is in Texas, but they're opening up offices in Louisiana, in New Orleans, and as well as the shipyard down in Franklin.
Yeah.
So this is really cool stuff.
We're coming up on 647 to Talk 107.3 FM, which means we need to take a quick break. On the backside of that break, we'll continue with a cup of tech gumbo. We got a stack of topics to cover. Haggai Davis is in the house with us. One more reminder before we take that break. Want to remind you, LSU women's basketball tomorrow evening going to be down the hall on 100.7 The Tiger. We'll have softball for you right here. But when Kim Mulkey's team takes the court in the NCAA tournament, it will be with the Tiger.
Dry January in Louisiana?
It's a thing, man. Not in Louisiana. Everywhere else. Yeah, it's California Baptist. They got Kansas in the first round, so it sounds like a no-go. But they got 4 seniors in their starting lineup, or four of their five top scorers are seniors. I always look for senior leadership in the early rounds because that's the guys that are going to leave their whole lives on the floor. They've got 2 7-footers, one guy who's 6'11", one guy who's 6'10". I don't know how many minutes they get per game, but statistically, they're not the heaviest hitters in the lineup. But when you've got senior leadership and length, and your number one player is a guard, when you get guard play, senior leadership, and then length, the length doesn't even have to produce; it just has to be there. So that might be my biggest upset of the first round. And it doesn't matter because I'm going to have St. John's moving forward in the next round anyway. Because I just don't bet against Patino. Plus, the other thing about California Baptist, their nickname is the Lancers. There's always one team with a nickname that nobody knows what the hell that is.
So Kansas is a 14.5-point favorite.
Yeah.
Alan goes, I want to ask if Los Saints tickets are so expensive. They've always been that way.
Yeah. It's because it's the NFL.
Yeah, I mean it's actually last fall they weren't that expensive. I took my kids to a game. It was the Jets game, and they were like $10 a ticket.
Well,
Really?
is that secondary market though?
No, they were giving the tickets away at the ticket booth to try
All
and
right.
just please come to a game.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it might have been. I don't know where I bought them now, but yeah. Of course, they were in upper deck, but what the hell? We were in the dome for $30
Right.
for 3 people.
Where do you want to go here?
You want to do the entertainment 20 years from now?
Yes. .652 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. We got Haggai Davis in for a cup of tech gumbo. The one of the stories we missed this one, was it about 2 weeks ago? You had this and we skipped right past it, or maybe I'm thinking of a different
No,
story.
a different story.
Okay. Headline reads, what entertainment might look like in 20 years. It says, among the predictions, Hollywood quality movies you can make at home for very little money. I think that might be part of it, but like, I think AI movies are going to be a thing.
Oh, they absolutely
Like 100% AI movies.
Absolutely, they will be. And the gist of the article was, it's going to be more interactive. You're going to be a part of the entertainment.
What, like a choose your own adventure book?
Well, something like that. Like you're gonna tell your AI, okay, I want to recreate the Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, except I want to be Indiana's dad. And or you want to be Brody because you're a buffoon, a babbling idiot kind of thing. And so you're going to see that kind of entertainment. I know last week we were kidding about the smartphones and having the holograph pop up.
Right.
But you're going to see things like that where you're going to be part of the entertainment. Or instead of just downloading a video game and playing it, you're going to have much more control inside the video game of what happens. And it's going to be looking at an entire wall, not just looking at an 85-inch TV that you can buy now for almost nothing.
Because we all need 85-inch TVs.
Yeah, because everybody's got walls big enough for an 85-inch TV,
right,
in your living room. But it's going to be a whole lot more interactive, where the AI is the entertainment exactly the way you want it, which is going to be fascinating. And because in my house, it's going to be very different, because with the TV my wife likes to watch versus what I enjoy is a whole different experience.
Oh, no, 1,000%. Same over here. But like I might be too stuck in the thinking of mass appeal. There's not going to be shooting for mass appeal here.
No, not at all. And because it's not about the masses, the ABCs, NBC, CBS, that sitcom that everyone watched, that's long a thing of the past. And whether or not there's even broadcast networks 20 years from now is a whole nother, because people just aren't tuning into that kind of thing. And all the entertainment you're going to want to consume is something that you're going to have the AI create for you based upon your likes, your needs. This is what you want it to be. I want a 93-minute movie that's going to be like a James Bond, but I want this character and you just tell it what you want, and it spits out the movie for you.
Right. And so, and when I'm talking about AI, AI generated like sitcoms and whatnot, I'm talking about like my thinking's in the interim here. When you still have a Hollywood, when you still have networks, when you still have production companies, and you still have writers, and they plug things into AI, and the AI spits out the punchlines and the scenarios and all that other stuff. What you're talking about is that next level beyond that, where you eliminate the middleman here, and we're just making our own stuff. And I kind of
the one thing that the article does talk about is, because people are going to get so overwhelmed by this kind of technology, the idea of live events, going back and seeing concerts in person, is really going to be important. Because it's one thing to sit there and watch AI, just all this AI just overload, but then people want to see real people sometimes.
right.
And so the idea of entertainers at a concert or a play or something like that, where you can see real people, is going to become really, really important as this AI completely overwhelms our life.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you the question. You know where my question's coming from, but how do you sell it? How do you make this an advertising venue? Because as long as we have products to sell, we will have networks to sell them.
Well, you're probably going to have a subscription to whatever AI service you want to be able to generate your content from, would be my immediate response. That's
Okay.
one way to generate revenue, so that ChatGPT can begin to pay off their $1 trillion in debt.
It's which is never going to happen.
No.
So we'll walk down the real concert thing in just a minute, because there's challenges there, to be sure. But sticking with the entertainment side, the written and scripted entertainment side, at what point, like, I feel like this is going to have to be a complete jump from one to the other. You're not going to have the middle ground where you have actors and AI actors in the same show. There's not going to be that transition part. It's going to be a pivot completely.
Okay. You're better at this, but the what was the rabbit movie?
Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Yeah. Okay. Where you have actors in cartoons. Space Jam. Those were, those were the first foray. And granted, that was not an artificial intelligence. That was people just in a movie with a cartoon. Right.
You've seen Tilly, what's her name? The Norwegian actress who was completely generated by AI.
Oh, yeah.
And so, yes, you're going to see a few more of these attempts,
but not on a grand scale.
Not yet. No, because we're nowhere near that capability yet. You can.
I don't know, man. We're close.
We're getting there, but I mean, to do a 20-second video or a 2-minute video completely generated by AI is very doable right now. To do a full length, the AI is not there for that yet.
I tell you what I don't like about it is the fact that as long as I'm the one who's generating the content, nothing's going to surprise me. As long as I'm the one saying to hey, I would like to see Law and Order Morgan City. If I'm the one coming up with the concept and plugging things into AI, there's nothing I could sit down and there's no M. Night Shyamalan twist at the end here, because
but if you tell the AI to generate your cliffhanger at the end.
Yeah. All right. We got to get no new episode of Tech Gumbo this week. So
this week.
If it's time to get caught up on your past episodes of Tech Gumbo, Saturday and Sunday right here on Talk 107.3 FM. And of course, everywhere you get your podcast on demand. Always appreciate the time.
Thanks, Brian.
Thanks.
Watch this. Well, I just got hit like that. I just got smacked in the face with tired. I can't remember if that's the one that does that. No, that's just the cast. It's not any other content.
It's just sad. Nothing's made in the U.S. anymore. Even this one says built-in antenna.
So?
I don't even know where that is. We've had reports from your neighbors that your dog was chasing a kid on a bike. That's ridiculous. My dog doesn't even know how to ride a bike. What kind of milk is that?
Soy milk.
Hola, milk, soy dad. The doctor said I can touch myself whenever I want.
AI generated comedy.
He said you could have a stroke at any time.
Okay.
Have you seen my sunglasses? No, son, have you seen my dad glasses? This sofa will seat 5 people without any problems. Where am I going to find 5 people without any problems? It's just sad.
I mean, it's corny.
Yeah.
It's corny,
It's
but
dead.
AI is writing comedy.
Right.
That to me is next level.
Made in the U.S. anymore.
Made in built-in antenna. I don't even know where that is. By the way, the more of those I watch, AI is racist.
Mm-hmm. Especially if you get Grok to create it.
Oh,
Yeah, Grok will tell you that the Holocaust didn't exist.
no, it won't.
That's why the French police went to the ex headquarters and were demanding a whole lot of
Jesus.
Oh yeah.
I assume it's been corrected.
No.
Louisville, South Florida.
Oh, it's so hard to pull against Louisville or
Yeah.
to pick against Louisville.
They're sloppy. I've watched them a couple times this year.
I know,
But
I still think of Louisville with Denny. What was it? The slicked hair coach with the red jacket back from the 70s and 80s.
because I think of Louisville with Patino. I think of everybody with Patino.
Yeah, before Patino got there.
Yeah.
That's when they were good back then.
It doesn't matter. They're losing to Michigan State in the next round.
Tell you, I still think the Louisiana Association of Broadcasters needs a category for weekend radio shows. Because I think
They have a
Gumbo-
best podcast category, but we submit something from the sports guys every year. So, like Matt does the Locked On LSU stuff and whatnot.
But weekend programming.
Weekend programming. You know what? They take suggestions every year. I bet you there would be an opening for like a niche category, like niche programming or specific topic specific programming. I'll put that out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it'd be cool to see Tech Gumbo win an award.
I mean, right from jump, you've got 13 years worth or 12 years worth?
12 and a half years.
12 and a half years worth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's not many weekend shows do a run like that. And most of them are financial shows that crap the bed after 6 months.
Right.
So, but
Yeah.
I would, I don't want to see you lose to Harb's Oasis for gardening. Nothing against Harbs,
It'd be cool just to be nominated, though.
You too.
Have a good weekend.
Yeah, of course.
Not yet.
Not yet. .705 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Hour 2 coming your way right now. Brian here with you. Bree Lynn producing. We've got a huge second hour, busy second hour, y'all. We're guest heavy this hour. Senator Bill Cassidy is going to be on the hotline in about a minute. Adonica Duggan from the Baton Rouge Alliance for Students is going to be on the hotline in about 12 minutes. And then Lieutenant Don Coppola for Crimestoppers at 7:35. So hotline's going to be burning it up. While we're waiting on Senator Cassidy, let me remind you about the folks at Neurojust. Neurojust.com is the website if you want to check them out. They're over on Bluebonnet if you want to swing by their office. I would start with the website. If you or someone you know is battling with anxiety or depression and has been thus far treatment resistant, meaning you don't like the sit down therapy, it just doesn't take, which if it does take, then absolutely continue with it. You don't like the prescription medication, the antidepressants, and if they're working for you, great, keep at it. But if you've been treatment resistant, TMS therapy is another alternative, a great alternative. Transcranial magnetic stimulation is what they specialize in. Give neurojust.com a look, learn a little bit more about it and what they're doing over there. Insurance does pick up the tab, which is rare in the mental health world, but insurance does pick up the tab. And it's think of it more like physical therapy for your brain. And we get the guys on from Neurojust regularly to just share client stories and patient stories. And the long and the short of it is they want your mental health to improve. So no matter what path you go down, as long as you are getting what you need, then keep after it. But if you're not getting what you need, check out neurojust.com. All right, we're going to blow out top stories and trending this morning. Visit with Senator Bill Cassidy. He's on the hotline right now. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Brian Haldane, I am fantastic, man. How are you?
Could not be better this morning. We got a lot of ground to cover and not a whole lot of time in which to get to all of it. So I want to start with the Save America Act, where we are right now, and I want to pick your brain about a certain part of the whole discussion. So where are we with the act right now?
Yeah, so just in case people don't know what it is, it would require somebody to show their ID when they vote in a federal election. Now, we do that already for all elections. So for Louisiana, it's like no big deal. And there's provisions like, there's other provisions as well that the president wants and on and on. But it's straightforward. You just have to show ID when you vote. And Republicans are almost all entirely for it, and Democrats are basically all opposed to it. Not quite sure why, except that if President Trump liked it, they don't like it. I'm saying Senate Democrats, because nationally, 70% of Democrats nationwide do like it, and 83% of voters overall. So where are we? We need 60 votes to pass it in the Senate. Right now, we don't have those 60 votes. We're going to be debating it. I tell folks, if you know somebody in a state represented by a Democratic senator, call them, FaceTime them, Facebook them, ask them to call their senator in their state in order to get them to vote for the SAVE Act. That's the sort of thing we need.
When it comes to the Save America Act, Senator Cassidy, I'm in complete agreement. Voter ID, it's the only way, to me, it's the only way to guarantee that my vote belongs to me. It's the only way to guarantee that someone else can't walk in, say they're me, and vote for someone, and then I walk in and say, hey, I'm here, and they say, no, you already voted. And there's no way to undo the other votes, so at the very least, I would cancel it out if they're voting in the opposite direction. So I'm a huge proponent of what's in the Save America Act. My question is there a level, well, as you were debating your own, as you were discerning your own decision on whether or not you were going to support this act, there's got to be some room for, we don't have federal elections. States run their own elections. So is there room in the discussion for states should have their own parameters to run their own elections?
Yeah, so there's a provision. The president's very concerned about mail-in ballots. Mail-in ballots. And so in Louisiana, if you're over 65, you can get a mail-in. If you're in Montana, I'm told that 80% of the ballots are mailed in, because like Montana is huge. In Alaska, it's even more so. You see where I'm going with this? Yeah. And so there is a provision that allows states to define what represents a hardship in which somebody would be able to get a mail ballot. In Louisiana, again, you could go back to say it's over 65. Not that most people over 65 are in good health, but some are in nursing homes, some are in hospitals, some, et cetera. You see where I'm going with it. They're in their RV cruising through the West. So states could define where they could do mail-in ballots, and that would be kind of, local option, if you will.
Okay. I like that answer. Senator Bill Cassidy is our guest. Talk about the Save America Act. We'll get to another topic or two in just a second, but I want to talk about the coverage of the Save America Act as well, because there's been a lot of talk about other things that the president tried to put in it. How much of what's been talked about is actually in the act, and how much is just, fodder for the news networks?
So the president wanted to have something addressing transgender surgeries, if you will. Taxpayer dollars going for them, for children in particular. So he really would like to have that in there. And so we're going to bring up the House bill, and without not meaning to bore you, but the House has passed something already without those amendments. We'll bring up the House bill and then try and substitute another amendment for that. So there will be things going a little bit further beyond the original House bill, which means it has to go back to the House. But the president obviously has to sign the legislation, so he has say so in how it ultimately looks like.
It's another one of those times where I just wish we could have single item legislation because transgender surgery has nothing to do with voting. And when things get convoluted like that, they just, they get lost in the wash.
Well, the president, what can I say? The president is a man of fixed ideas sometimes.
That is accurate.
Yeah. And so this is one of the things that he actually, feels strongly about. So it'll be up there. But fundamentally, we should be talking about the Save America Act. And the Save America Act is like election integrity. Can you just ask to be shown your ID when you register to vote? And whatever problems people imagine with it, I tell them we've been doing this in Louisiana for like the longest.
Right.
And we used to have a problem with, more votes were being counted than people lived in the parish. That doesn't happen anymore. Just having people show an ID is clean up our elections. So I think it's a good idea.
Got about 3 minutes left with Senator Bill Cassidy. Greatly appreciate you carving out a couple minutes this morning. I want to talk about Homeland Security. We are now averaging 5,000 TSA agents calling in sick. Are we any closer to resolution?
I don't know. So the White House has come forward with, I think, a very reasonable offer to the Democrats. But yesterday on the floor, Raphael Warnock, Democratic senator from Georgia, offered a bill that would pay TSA agents. I'm all for that. But then the Republicans said, wait a second, why don't we also pay TSA agents, FEMA people, Coast Guard people, and somebody else that's not being paid? And the Democrat opposed that. And so we're trying to find a solution, but for some reason, I think they like the crisis. They just like the crisis. By the way, they're going after the Border Patrol people, but and the ICE agents, but they have enough money to get paid. Right. So being paid is not an issue for them. And yet they're punishing the other people, the FEMA, the TSA, et cetera. And FEMA, incredibly important to Louisiana. Northeast Louisiana recently hit by Winter Storm Fern, but then there's recently been tornadoes and other bad weather across the eastern seaboard. So we need FEMA fully operative, and for some reason they just can't get there.
We would be concerned about FEMA here. Nationwide, there should be concern about TSA not getting paid, especially while everything's going on in Iran. I mean, when you're fighting against a country that supports terrorism, you don't want your TSA agents to sleep at the wheel.
Yeah, and TSA agents, people got bills to pay. I mean, I go through there, and then I just, God bless them that you're showing up for work. But they got bills to pay.
Right.
Why don't you just have compassion upon the folks that are fellow Americans who are just trying to do their job, and they become a political football. So, by the way, the Democrats had actually agreed to the funding legislation before all this broke. They agreed to this like 6 months ago. And then what happened in Minneapolis happened. And so the Trump administration has come back and said, okay, we'll put body cams on the ICE agents. We'll have, require a judicial warrant before they go into somebody's home. All the demands that they've asked, the Trump administration has come forward and said, okay, we'll do it. And they still won't give in. It's like they want to punish the people who work for the government, which is just maddening.
Senator Bill, I'm looking at the clock. We're just straight up out of time this morning. I got to get you back on very, very soon to talk about child care fraud. Give me the 30-second version of what you're working on.
Yeah, so we're about to call in the committee on which I chair, the Health, Education, Labor, and Pension. We're about to bring in 3 major offenders. Oregon is the worst of all. New York and Michigan. We're going to have them come in. It's not just Minnesota. There's other states as well. It doesn't have to be that way. Mississippi is the best in the nation. Texas is good. Louisiana is not bad. So there's things you can do that actually drive down the rate of fraud. But when you have the highest rate in the nation, you want to find out what's going wrong, and you need to fix it because it's our tax dollars going to that state to get ripped off. We don't want that.
We will get the director's cut on that one next time. In the meanwhile, we always appreciate you carving out a couple minutes. Senator Bill Cassidy, thank you so much.
Thanks, Brian.
7:15, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. We're running about 2 minutes long right there. Adonica Duggan's coming up next. I'm not even in the chat yet. Should I even bother asking about the reaction of Senator Cassidy right there? I'm not even in the chat yet. Let me just ask, what did you disagree with right there?
Talking to 7:30. Hey, good morning. We're going to come to you in 1 to 2 minutes, okay?
Morning, Nancy. See you in there. Sonny says it's not. Oh, going back to the AI stuff. It's not writing. It's reciting dad jokes. Yeah, I know. But it's. I don't. None of the jokes are 100% original, but placing them in the situation for the situational comedy. That's where I'm at. $180pros, 180pros.com, 180pros.com. How's your relationship with your IT provider? Oh, you don't have a relationship with your IT provider? You just call an 800 number somewhere halfway around the world when something goes wrong? Well, let's up that game a little bit. Let's talk about having a partnership with your IT provider. Move it to IT partner. 180 Pros, that's exactly what they do. In fact, when you call them at 225, yes, 225, that's local at 225-330-2200, you'll learn all about what it means to have an IT partner as opposed to a provider. You will learn about how they can help step in when cybersecurity threats come your way, how they can help step in with same-day response time when something goes wrong with your network. How about simplified billing? How about a one-page invoice from your IT provider or your IT partner, excuse me, and not a multi-line item nickel and diming from your provider? 180pros.com. All right, big day for the Baton Rouge Alliance for Students. Adonica Duggan's on the hotline with us. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing great.
Glad to have you on this morning. I said today's a big day. Tell us why today is an exciting day in Alliance history.
Today is our 5th birthday. We were founded back in 2021, and we're just really excited to celebrate 5 years of impact in the Baton Rouge community.
That was a fast 5 years, Adonica.
It was. It absolutely was. I feel like my head's spinning.
No, I remember when you made the jump over and launching this bad boy. And so let's walk through a little bit of a few of the accomplishments along the way.
Yeah, I think our biggest investment has been in people. We have over 200 change makers who are community advocates, who are folks who really just said, I want to learn more about how I can improve education in Baton Rouge and what my role is in that conversation.
Yes.
We've made about over $500,000 of investment in other community organizations who are doing direct service work. So that means if you're on the ground making the community better for students and families, we've invested in supporting the work of some of the people who are actually out there doing the work on a day-to-day. We've had a lot of folks who've come through our Torch Academy. That's training people who want to run for office. We have successfully elected folks to the state legislature, to the Metro Council, to school board. And we've invested in parents and supporting parents to be better advocates for their children's education and understand how they should be partnering with schools to support what's happening in the classroom.
You look at where we're at right now, and it's an incredible list of accomplishments, but you look at where we're at right now, it might be a little difficult to rewind the clock to go back 5 years to see where we were then. So let's rewind the clock. I know I'm doing this a little bit out of order, but go back to the beginning of the Baton Rouge Alliance for Students and run down the why. Why did this whole thing get started?
We were coming out of the pandemic back in those days, and there was a real challenge around how we were educating students, how we were addressing the needs of young people in our community and preparing them for the lives that we want for them. We had a school board that had, a level of dysfunction that we hopefully don't see as much anymore. We had, just a lot of challenges in public education, and no one was stepping up and saying, like, we want to be the connective tissue that helps people understand what they should be doing to better support schools and how we should be calling for better education for kids in Baton Rouge. And so we wanted people to really understand the landscape and to understand how they could plug in and be supportive of the changes that needed to come.
How much do you put weight on the concept that from then till now, one of the biggest changes has been simply the narrative that it wasn't that long ago that charter schools, which are public schools, but charter schools were viewed as the enemy to public schools as opposed to a companion?
I think that there still persists some of that in the community, but I would say that the reality of the situation is that we have to be focused on the outcomes for young people, and we've seen a dramatic shift in the outcomes for young people in Baton Rouge. Since 2021, we've seen 12,000 student drop in the number of students in Baton Rouge who are in DNF schools.
Mm-hmm.
And that is very significant progress, regardless of school type. And that means that there were some charter schools that had to, transition and have those students served by other schools, and also that there were some district schools. And we weren't really focused on the type of school, but rather, were you serving kids well? And if so, we need you to do more of that. And were you serving kids poorly? And if so, then we don't need you serving kids in Baton Rouge anymore.
Yeah, and the number, if we were running back to 2021, like you said, we're coming out of the pandemic. So the DNF schools, it's a little bit more understandable that those numbers would be higher at that time because we were coming out of remote learning. We were coming out of a number of students falling behind as a result of not being physically in the classroom. But nonetheless, to see these stark comparisons, it's got to be rewarding as you hit your 5th birthday.
Absolutely. That number, there was absolutely a spike in 2021, but this is the lowest number of students in DNF schools that we have seen for 12 years in Baton Rouge. And so, the progress is significant. Not only have we recovered to the levels that we were at pre-pandemic in terms of where the number of students in those low performing schools, but we're seeing progress and we're taking the right steps. And, the challenge now is to continue to tend that progress and not say, okay, we got it, and take our eye off the ball.
We've got Adonica Duggan with us talking about the Baton Rouge Alliance for Students and kind of a 5th birthday celebration, if you will. Adonica, you mentioned the torch program and getting candidates elected and getting candidates, up to speed on what students need in Baton Rouge. We haven't talked about our current superintendent and the role that he's taken on over this time as well.
Yeah, I think, we've had seen a lot of transition in leadership in East Baton Rouge Parish. We have a revolving door of superintendents in Baton Rouge, and that level of leadership transition can be destabilizing for a school district. And so I think the superintendent has been much of steadying influence after a pretty rocky period in the district's history with the transition after Dr. Narcisse. Yeah. And so I think that, his ability to bring the board together and to bring the community together and focus people on what's happening for students as the main thing. A lot of our work in Baton Rouge is around keeping the main thing, and how are we serving kids? And I think the superintendent has definitely been a steadying influence in that way.
No, absolutely. And his passion shows and his love shows. And that I think that kind of leads the day, and it leads to a more student driven experience.
Absolutely. And, I think that the challenge with a large urban school system is there are a lot of competing interests and a lot of challenges around what people are expecting from the school system as one of the largest employers in the parish, as one of the largest landholders, and so I think that his relentless focus on what is best for students really shows up in the policymaking decisions, whether that is we need to close schools because we shouldn't have students in this building, or we're not serving kids well in this area and we need to do something different. Or even if that is like, we need to focus on how we retain our teachers, because we know that transition is pretty destabilizing as well.
You talked a little bit about policy. Let's pivot over there. Let's take a look at the state capitol real quick. What has Baton Rouge Alliance for Students gotten done in that building when it comes to the policy level?
Well, I would say we really focus in on how kids are served in Baton Rouge. And so we see ourselves as a partner to the statewide advocates on helping them to understand and helping our legislators to understand how the impact of policy decisions at the state level are going to play out in Baton Rouge. And so while we don't do a lot of work at the Capitol, we really try to help be thought partners and experts in what does that look like on the ground? When districts start to implement that policy, what are the challenges that they might face? What are the things that maybe you aren't considering about the implementation of that in a school system as large as Baton Rouge? Because there aren't a lot of large school systems who in the state, EBR size. And so it's how does that play out on the ground and being a thought partner in that way.
What's next?
What's next is hopefully getting to a place where we continue to see progress for Baton Rouge kids. I think there are still some remaining issues that we need to address around the way that we budget resources for students in the highest need areas. I think we have to get a really comprehensive talent plan. We continue to see that, the challenges around staffing in large urban school systems are pretty significant. And Baton Rouge has to get creative about how we keep teachers in East Baton Rouge Parish serving kids who need them the most. And so I think that there are a lot of things that we can be doing there. And then I think that, there's just making sure that we're continuing great instruction in areas like literacy and, adding to that the math instruction. And, there's a lot of things in terms of curriculum as well.
We got Adonica Duggan for about 2 more minutes talking about the Baton Rouge Alliance for Students celebrating their 5th birthday today. Adonica, I want to ask you about Red Stick Leaders. What is it?
Red Stick Leaders for Students is our political action committee. And, you asked what's next. Another thing that's next is we have elections this fall for school board. And so, if we want to continue the progress, we have to continue to make sure that the people who sit in those seats are, the people who we want in those seats who are focusing on students first when they make those decisions. And so our political action committee will be active in elections this fall.
So before we get you out of here, and looking forward to elections this fall. When it's all said and done, we're going to have so many elections this year. With the closed primaries, we had an election last weekend, and that was the 3rd one of the year already. It's been ridiculous and will remain so looking forward to that election. How can you separate, how can you create points of differentiation for what Baton Rouge Alliance is looking for?
I think it is, we have been really clear about our policy platform. You can find it at brallianceaction.org, and also we've been evaluating and continue to evaluate the performance of incumbents. And we'll have candidate forums. We'll have a lot of activity in the fall that'll help people to understand the people who are stepping up and saying they want to lead. And so I think it's really important that people stay engaged in the conversation and they pay attention to the people who they're putting in charge of the education of Baton Rouge's future.
It's going to be servant leadership. I mean, it always has to be servant leadership, and that's something y'all have had to focus on.
Absolutely. I think if you feel like you are called to lead in this community, there's a responsibility to do that in a way that represents the people who you are elected to lead. And I think that, servant leadership and the ability to work together across lines of difference is really important in this community.
She is Adonica Duggan with the Baton Rouge Alliance for Students. Happy birthday to you. Thanks for a couple minutes this morning.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You do the same. We got news coming up in just a little bit. I do need to tell you about 5-Star Printing and Signs. No better time to tell you about 5-Star Printing and Signs. If you're thinking about running for school board this fall, Danny's got to be your first call. 271-4096. Make the Baton Rouge Alliance for Students your first call. Danny's got to be your first call once you sign up to run. 271-4096 is the phone number. Printshop5.com is the website. Elections on all levels, whether you're talking about school board, whether you're talking about the U.S. Senate, they've got you covered. The yard signs, the brochures, the door hangers, the mailers, they've got everything that will put your message forward with your campaign. 271-4096 for 5-Star. Amazing, because I get DMs saying, "Oh, you're having Bill Cassidy on?" Ooh, why is Adonica so good? What time is the luncheon?
It's not an all day thing, but it ain't like 2 hours long, something like that.
Yeah, 11:45 to 1:15, which I guess is technically only an hour and a half. Well, it spans over 3 hours. I mean, 11:45 to 1. I mean, 11, 12, 1. It's so yeah. I won't be home till 2. Gross. Mm.
What award does MSJ take home every year?
Best morning show.
They've won it for back-to-back years now. You need to
A decade. It's been at least a decade, and I put myself up for it about 5 years ago and got walloped. But my show's in a different spot now. But I don't think nobody's beaten them. It's yeah. I'm just looking for a second category that I can win in. I want to bring home 2 of those bad boys in a year.
best interview.
That's next year.
Yeah.
And I really want Uniquely Louisiana. I'm up for Washington Mardi Gras.
Okay.
But WWOZ wins that every year.
And what did they win?
Jazz Fest. But it's like same shit, different day. You know? It's... And I understand if you're the committee who's voting on these things, because I've done this for other industries. I've done this for like, I've done it for other states too. Like the Michigan Association of Broadcasters called on us or whatever. I don't remember which state it was. I think it was Alabama. And I've gone through this and I've done it for. But when you're one of the judges, you don't want like one group to get everything. You want to share the wealth a little bit. So I understand. But I can't be convinced that, like, okay, yes, Jazz Fest is a big Louisiana thing and millions of people come to town for it or whatever. But, like, is it unique to Louisiana? Are there not music festivals in other states?
Talk with 7-3. Good morning. How are you? I was going to say, where are you? Well, cool deal. All right, I'm gonna drop you back on hold, okay?
Shit. What are you doing after the show?
Talking doing stuff.
What are you doing after that? I wonder if there's some content to be had for 100.7 by going out to LSU.
Yeah, I got that stuff.
From Hondo?
Yeah.
They're going to have a buck and bull out there.
Yeah.
Could there be anything better content than having people falling off of a bull in front of the student union?
Right.
That would totally be worth it.
I can swing by. Well, Clayton's going. Clayton said he's going to go.
Okay.
I'm I'm gonna get, if I can't make it, I'm gonna get him to shoot me some video. Everybody falling off. That's funny.
.736 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along, getting to Crimestoppers in a quick minute. Got to remind you about the Baton Rouge Metro Airport. FlyBTR.com is the website. FlyBTR.com. We've been talking about TSA and Homeland Security throughout the morning a little bit. On average, 5,000 TSA agents a day are calling in sick. It's creating ridiculous delays, unbelievably long lines. I saw where some airports are closing down their handicap line and just putting people in wheelchairs in the same TSA line with everybody else because they don't have the option. Not at Baton Rouge. Baton Rouge Metro Airport, at last report, the Baton Rouge Metro Airport, business as usual. So when you're booking your travel, take that into account. The wait times that could be there wherever else you're going. When you're here in Baton Rouge, though, it's the normal TSA, the normal, which has always been really pleasant at BTR as compared to other airports. And take into account all the other benefits, the touchless parking, the supporting a local business, to be sure, and the number of options it keeps to climb at the Baton Rouge Metro Airport, like the daily direct flight to Washington, D.C. Fly BTR takes you to DCY and back in the same day. If you want to learn more, visit flybtr.com. All right, it is time for Crimestoppers. Hit it. Welcome aboard, Lieutenant Don Coppola on the hotline this morning. How are you, sir?
Hey, good morning, Brian. How are you this morning?
Doing very well on my end. I hope you're doing well as well.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry I can't be there in person today, but the good news is I am not fighting the lines at the airport. So,
well, that's the thing, though, Don. We don't have lines. We don't have lines at our airport. Now, if you were going down to
correct.
If you were going down to MSY, you would probably run into a lot more of that. So,
oh my God, for sure.
What do we got? What are we talking about today?
So this morning we're gonna start off with our Facebook page, Capital Region Crimestoppers. Livingston Parish Sheriff's Office is investigating a possible homicide that had occurred at a McDonald's parking lot. You may have seen this. This is an ongoing investigation. Don't have a whole lot on it at this time, but if anybody has information that could assist investigators, you know the number, 344-STOP, 344-7867, P3 TIPS app. Give us a call. Give us that information. You will remain anonymous.
This is the one about the McDonald's up in Watson is what we were looking at. And as I understand it, they're looking for more than one suspect here.
Yes, this is, again, still a fluid investigation. And we believe somebody out there has some information on this that could assist investigators. And, you know, it's just a matter of time before all the pieces are put together. But let's expedite that for those investigators and let us know what you know so they can get the ones responsible and get this cleared as well.
Lieutenant Don Coppola on with us for our Crimestopper segment. Important to note, since we're talking about Livingston Parish, Don, this is not just the Baton Rouge Crimestoppers. This is Capital Region Crimestoppers. Talk to me a little bit about the coordination between, you know, the different entities within the region.
Yeah, Brian. So again, a lot of people you talk to think Crimestoppers is just Baton Rouge, and that's not the case. We cover 9 parishes up into the Felicianas, Assumption, Point Capee, Iberville, Ascension, Livingston, of course, East and West Baton Rouge. So, yeah, the partnership is great, and we stay busy, and that's what we want. But we could not do this without your listeners. We cannot do this without the community. And they're the ones that trust us to know that their anonymity is protected, and no one will know who they are. So, and we don't want to know who you are. We just want the information you have. So, pick up the phone, go to the P3 Tips app, and get us that information.
Crimestoppers coming your way every Thursday. 344-STOP is the phone number. 344-STOP. Who else are we looking for?
So we're going to stay in Livingston Parish for right now. The burglary investigators are investigating a burglary that occurred early March, a theft of a lawnmower, Easy Bart. They have one subject in custody now, and they're still looking for a second. Looks like Johnson has been apprehended, but they're looking to identify the second individual believed to be a part of this crime as well.
Okay, you got to help me out here because as I'm reading this story, Livingston Parish Sheriff's Office detectives began investigating the theft of a lawnmower, X-Mark Lazy Z, I guess that's the brand of the lawnmower, red and gray in color. It's a $5,000 lawnmower, and the attempted theft of several other items from a property on Florida Boulevard out in Holden. Sheriff Ard said, quote, through our investigation, detectives were able to identify one suspect, like you just said. I've got to ask, stealing lawnmowers now a two-man job?
It's a pretty big lawnmower, along with the other items taken. And again, it looks like that Johnson has an active warrant. It doesn't look so. Anyone with information on the whereabouts of Derwin Johnson, believed to be from the Hammond, Louisiana area, or the identity of this other individual who helps out in this crime, they believe, give us a call.
What is it with Hammond lately, Don? Are we hearing about it more, or is it happening more?
And again, that falls under the Tangipahoa Crimestoppers. Mm-hmm. But again, if you have information, give us a call. It seems like it's everywhere, Brian. It's just no matter where you turn, there's something going on. Yeah. But it's okay because people know that they can contact Crimestoppers, remain anonymous, and if their information assists in the identification or the apprehension, they're getting a cash reward.
Now, I will note this, though, Don, and that is, unlike the last time we talked about a stolen lawnmower, Derwin Johnson, who is presumed innocent until proven guilty, Derwin Johnson did not allegedly use the lawnmower as his getaway vehicle, correct?
At this point in time, we do not have information on that. As the other one.
You remember that one? You remember that one?
I do remember that one. It's, when you think you have seen it all, you just wait and something else seems to top that.
No, absolutely. That was one, like, as long as I will go my entire career and always remember someone trying to outrun the cops on a lawnmower. That's the kind of stuff that TikToks are made of. What else?
Or movies. What was that? The Water Boy.
Oh yes. I forgot all about that.
Baton Rouge police are looking for Derek Ricks, 26-year-old Derek Ricks, on the charges of armed robbery, aggravated battery, and illegal use of a weapon. Investigators believe that he had robbed an individual outside a grocery store on North Acadian Freeway. So anybody with information on Derek Ricks, contact Crimestoppers. Sheila Landry, 31, is also wanted by the Baton Rouge Police Department on the charge of theft, access device fraud, and illegal transmission of monetary funds. Investigators believe that she helped herself just around 33 transactions under someone else's name for around $2,300. So again, Sheila Landry, wanted by the Baton Rouge Police Department on those charges. Also, Charles Parson, 40 years old, theft and fraudulent use of sales receipts. It's believed that he completed over 60 fraudulent transactions for a monetary loss of over $7,000. That's Charles Parson, wanted by the Baton Rouge Police Department on theft and fraudulent use of sales receipts.
Unbelievable stuff. We got Don Coppola on with us for our Crime Stopper segment, as we do every Thursday. Don, I want to ask you about some follow-up on some other ones, because we had one last week that did end up getting solved, and I'm having trouble locating it now. Do you remember which one I'm talking about?
Well, a lot gets solved.
Oh, yeah.
If you can narrow that down for me.
Yeah, that's my bad. I should have had more prep on this end. Now yeah, I'm not seeing it now, but there was one in particular last week specifically that I know came to light, and it was directly from a Crime Stoppers tip. But like you said, this happens all the time.
This happens all the time, and it's a good thing. And we want those phones to continue ringing. We want those tips to come through our app, and we want to pay our tipsters. And again, we pay once a month at our local bank in Baton Rouge, and if for some reason you can't pick up on that day, your money never goes away. So it's a win-win. Again, we just are looking for that information to assist investigators, and know you will remain anonymous.
You can check out the Capital Region Crime Stoppers Facebook page. They are active over there. And as always, if you see something, say something. Where else can folks find Crime Stoppers if they would like to help out and looking up who it is to look for?
So go to our website, www.crimestoppers225.com. You will find our fugitives there. You will also, under the Get Involved tab, see the Beyond Bars program. And if you're interested in us coming out to a school, coming out to a community event, get that information filled out, and we will come out and have those discussions and do what we can to, curb some of this crime that's going on.
He is Lieutenant Don Coppola. We do Crime Stoppers about this time every single week. 344-STOP is the phone number, 344-STOP. Of course, always with the P3 Tips app. It's better to have it and not need it than needed and not have it. Don, we always appreciate the time. We'll see you next week.
Thank you. I'll see y'all next week.
Yep, absolutely. At the appreciate the check-in from Crime Stoppers. $5,000 lawnmower. 2-man job to get that one done. And yes, way smarter to not try to get away on the lawnmower. No, load the lawnmower up in a truck and then you get away. That's way better. That's a way better plan of action. If you're going to Ocean's 11 a lawnmower, then you got to put together a good crew. That's what they did.
You clown. But at my last job, the one I just came from, somebody stole a lawnmower.
Okay.
Like a riding lawnmower.
Yeah.
Going down, what is it? Highway 70, I believe, in Baker. Just going straight down there. He ended up in Zachary with the lawnmower. I don't know how he did it, but
that's a heck of a ride on a lawnmower.
Like, and nobody just in the logo of the company. No lie, on the front.
Right there on it.
And I'm like, and nobody thought. So I come into work the next day and they're like, oh yeah, he's fired and our lawnmower is gone. I'm like, oh, good to know.
Yeah. But like they weren't looking for him at the time. No, the story Don and I were talking about, you had stepped out for a quick second. The story Don and I talked about was somebody had stolen a lawnmower and tried to run from the cops on the lawnmower.
Oh my God.
Yeah. He
can't make it up.
No, you can't. And he was getting somewhere too, and then he like turned off the road and overturned it in the ditch.
He would have McDonald's or something. Who knows?
You get a lawnmower, a little zero-turn radius, you get a little overconfident. I understand. 749, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. It was 750. Let's get your money now. My watch says stand up.
Seriously.
Is there another Rouse's remote tomorrow?
There is, and Brittany's going to it. It is noon to 2.
Okay. I just got to swap off vehicles.
Yeah.
Matt said I could use ESPN because they don't have one.
Yeah, they have Marucci last night. So
Yeah.
you're good. You can have ESPN.
Yeah. Yeah, I talked to Vex yesterday, and
How's it looking?
yeah, it looks like it's 100 pieces on the ground.
Oh.
You got to take out the back seat to get to the fuel pump. I know. Oh.
Good morning.
Oh, I just saw your text.
Never mind.
Okay.
I didn't realize. You know how you had that glitch yesterday where like the door was open all day?
Yeah.
So I got there today and like my cord wouldn't work, the phone wouldn't work, like nothing. So I thought it was like I don't know. And then I called Rasha and he said the other door worked.
Yeah, front door's working. Yeah, but my phone won't open that door either. It's just broken right now. So we're just down to 2 doors. My apologies. What do I owe you? I feel like I owe you something. You're looking for an answer on something. Or are we square?
No, we're good. I have Sunny here from for 805.
Can we do this right now? Yeah. Hey, come on in. Hop on in there. We'll be a quick 5 minutes, if that's all right.
Well,
sorry, we put everything on wheels and then yeah.
You may have a library, right, Brian? Do you have to do a library coming back in?
I'm gonna skip it for right now.
Okay.
How far back do I need to go on this one?
April 9th. Okay.
Spell your name for me.
SUNNIE Johnson hyphen LAIN.
Okay.
Johnson Lane.
And I remember saying yes, but I don't remember the topic. So
This is about our celebration of service. It's St. Vincent de Paul's first celebration of service, which is honoring Andy Adler, who's been our board chair he's served on our board for over 30 years.
Okay.
And so it's a fundraiser and also just a celebration of our friends and supporters.
Okay. Mm. $7:55 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. We've got a jammed up 8 o'clock hour, and we are actually going to pivot real quick and welcome one of those guests to this hour because we're so jammed up. Sonny Johnson Lane with St. Vincent de Paul is in with us. How are you this morning?
Great to see you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, always. Anything we can do for St. Vincent de Paul. Y'all have got a big thing coming up, a celebration of service.
We do.
Tell me all about it.
So we've never had a major, event, an annual event for St. Vincent de Paul, and we're just finishing up our celebration of our 160th year of service. So it's a perfect time to celebrate our mission and a very special person to our mission.
Who is the special person? Are we allowed to say that?
Andy Adler. Andy has served with us on our board for nearly 30 years. He's just done incredible things for St. Vincent de Paul. And we want to just really have a great evening to celebrate him and also to create support for our services.
Let's talk a little bit about the services, because the mission at St. Vincent de Paul is a fantastic one, to be sure, but it also covers a lot of ground.
It does. It's hard to explain sometimes, and I've only been here as CEO for less than a year. And when I came into my new role, I would ask people, what do you know about St. Vincent de Paul? And they would kind of say, you're great. And I'd say, well, what do we do? And they'd say, you help people.
Well,
so we have really honed in on our 4 key pillars, which are feed, clothe, house, and heal. And so, we have the largest homeless shelters in the Baton Rouge area, a very large dining room, pharmacy and dental program, and then, of course, our thrift stores.
I want to kind of touch on all those very quickly,
Sure.
if we could. The feeding part, let's start there. We've done some volunteer work at the dining hall. I've been over there once or twice. Probably need to go more. But talk to me a little bit about numbers, the number of people y'all serve just through that dining hall.
Yeah, so over 300 folks every day, and that equates to over 300,000 meals every year. We never close. We have not closed one day since 1982.
Now on the housing side, and we'll get to the pharmacy later, but on the housing side, we've seen in Baton Rouge over the last couple of winters just a number of times where it's been literally deadly outside.
Yes.
And y'all could step up with how many beds?
Sure. We can house about 140 people every night, and we actually have been open the last 2 nights for cold shelter, speaking of cold. So we will always open if there's an emergency, whether it be a hurricane, heat, snow, cold. We're here to make sure our neighbors stay safe.
How widespread is the messaging on the end for those that need it? We all know how to find you on this end, but for those that need it, if they're seeking you, how widespread is the message to find you?
I think most of our neighbors in need know where to find us. We get many calls every day. We are easy to find on our website, and we have a hotline that people can call. And then also we all welcome people to the campus every day. We can walk to the door and we can serve them right then and there.
We've got Sonny Johnson Lane in with us from St. Vincent de Paul. Go a quick minute on the pharmacy, then we'll get back to the man of the hour with Andy. The pharmacy, I think, underrated thing that y'all do.
We do. We were actually the first St. Vincent de Paul charitable pharmacy in the country. We've been open for over 30 years, and we serve folks who either have no insurance or who are underinsured. And when a person has to make a choice between paying their bills, paying for heat, or medicine, we've got folks who are either skipping doses, cutting pills in half. This is a resource for them, serving over $1 million in no-cost prescriptions last year alone.
Very, very quickly, how does it work? Because we understand how to donate clothing, we understand how to donate food.
Medication, first of all, we do accept medication if it's not been opened.
Okay.
We can accept medication. Most of our medication comes from healthcare facilities that have excess, but we do accept medications from the public. And if a person needs pharmacy services, all they need to do is come to our charitable pharmacy Monday through Friday mornings, 8:30 to 12:30, and we can get them into the system.
I'm going to work under the assumption that we're all familiar with the thrift store. So let's go back to Andy real quick. Give me a quick 30 seconds on his work and his meaning to St. Vincent.
Wow. So Andy, has been with our board since my predecessor, Michael Acaldo, joined as CEO. He came on, he was actually Michael's college professor and came on when we were a tiny organization. He's seen us through incredible growth. He's really was kind of the leader on our thrift stores, a lot of our programs. And most notably when Michael, in the interim between Michael's departure and my coming, Andy really took the lead and made sure we stayed afloat.
Very, very cool stuff. So if folks want to learn more about the celebration of service, what do they need to know? Where do they need to go?
So they can go to our website, which is svdpbr.org. And there's a pop-up as soon as you get to our page. There's a little window box and you'll be able to find us quite readily. We hope to see as many of our friends from the community come out and celebrate St. Vincent de Paul and Andy as possible.
She is Sonny Johnson Lane. Thank you for a couple minutes this morning.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
We are running just a couple seconds late for news. This is WBRP Baker Baton Rouge. Oh, thank you for moving up. I was at a legislative reception yesterday evening and ran into the Deputy Secretary for Energy for the United States. And he was looking for a time to come on. And I wasn't thinking at the time, and I told him 8:05. So I'm so glad you got here early.
Good. Ellen told me to. So
yeah, so awesome.
Thank
stuff.
you. I'm glad
Thank
you could squeeze me in. Nice to meet you.
Likewise. How's Michael doing?
He's great. I just talked to him a couple days ago.
He's
in Missouri.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. scrolling back through the text thread. I'm scrolling back in December, and nothing. And the same thing with the emails. I need a better way to streamline the nonprofits because I don't want to tell them no, but I get bludgeoned with it. Like we've had 5 of them on this week.
I know. Top 173. Good morning. Yes, we're going to come to him in about 2-ish minutes, okay? All right, thank you so much.
Found it.
You found it?
I found it.
When? Was I on it?
Last Wednesday.
And I was on it?
Yeah. No. Yeah.
How did I didn't be burned into that.
And I said, would 8:05 next Thursday work? And she said, yes, thank you.
No shit. I completely forgot about it. You know what? You know what I'm gonna do? If Ellen doesn't drop a calendar invite, I'll do it for just you and I, so we don't forget. Would that help you at all, or you don't look at your calendar?
Yes. No. I live by my calendar.
Okay. So if she doesn't drop an invite, because normally she does, I will drop it. The whole boo-boo thing.
Oh, snap. So yeah, I'm behind on my live reads, as per always.
Not enough time in a show.
All right, we'll do this day in history to close out the show.
Okay.
Still miss Emma Kate though.
Yeah.
Shoot. She was if Netflix and Chill was a meteorologist, it was Emma Kate.
I know. She was good.
She was good, but like she always sounded like she don't take this the wrong way. She always sounded like she just woke up next to you.
That's a hard Brian.
No, in a good way. 806 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along hour 3, coming your way right now. Brian here with you, Bree Lynn producing. We've ticked all the way up to 44 degrees, as you heard from Balin Rogers, on our way to 77 before it's all said and done today. Broadcasting live from the 180 Pros studio. Is it time for your IT to do a 180? Visit 180pros.com. All right, this hour is all about letters. For the next 2 segments, it's going to be LNG, CCS, and then in the last segment, AI. So let's get rocking and rolling. Deputy Secretary of Energy for the United States, James Danley, was back in town, or is back in town right now, or in the state, I should say. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Great. How are you doing?
Doing very well on my end as well. What brings you back to Louisiana so quickly?
I'm attending a conference at Tulane.
On?
On energy and M&A, basically a legal conference at Tulane, talking about energy financing.
All right.
Right. We got to build these things, and to build them, we have to finance them. And for better or for worse, that involves lawyers.
Hey, look, one of the most misquoted things of all time, Shakespeare said the first thing you do is you kill all the lawyers. It's so misquoted, though, because the next line is, and then you have to deal with the chaos.
Right.
So
exactly. I have made that point myself. I appreciate that literate intro to the discussion this morning.
Absolutely. But we're not talking about lawyers this morning. We're talking about LNG and where we're at right now. Can we talk about Plaquemines Parish to start off with? Because I was at a reception yesterday that they were featured at, and man, we're seeing nothing but growth right now.
Oh, it's incredible. I mean, the thing is, I think people don't appreciate broadly just how quickly the LNG export industry has taken off. It's worth noting that in February, we had the 10th anniversary of the first export cargo of LNG from the United States. And from that 10 years ago, a mere decade ago, we were importing LNG, and now we're the world's largest exporter of LNG. So we produce more domestically than Russia, Iran, and China put together, and we export more than any other country. It is really a remarkable success story.
Let's talk about down that path for just a quick second, because when you talk about Iran, you obviously got to mention what's going on between the U.S. and Iran right now. How does that change our role? Does it ramp us up? Does it tamp things down? What's going on right now, and what are the repercussions here?
Well, I think the most important thing to point out is that this is proof, as if we needed it, of the president's clear-eyed vision that energy security is national security. And one of the great things is that the United States is blessed with a superabundance of natural resources. We are producing an immense amount of oil and natural gas. We're right now producing 24 million barrels a day of oil and fuels. That's a really robust production. And one of the reasons why we want this robust LNG export capacity is to support our friends and allies across the world. These are geostrategic assets that are critical to the health and safety and success of countries across the globe. And the best thing is not only did we have this huge increase over the last decade, by 2030, we're poised to double the total export capacity again. So the United States is going to be in a perfect position to be an engine of economic development throughout the whole of the world. And we're doing it by, among other things, shipping massive quantities of energy overseas.
Deputy Secretary for Energy James Danley is our guest. In fact, last week, DOE authorized a little bit of boost for Plaquemines Parish.
Oh, yes, it did. We authorized an additional 13% to their total export capacity, which brings almost to 4 BCF a day. And just to put that in context, the total export capacity in the United States is just under 18.6. So it's a significant facility, obviously, that's obvious, but even this increase of 13 matters too. We really do want to get as much LNG exported as we can. And, it's actually an interesting point. One of the very first votes that I had when I was a commissioner, I'd been on the job at the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission as a newly seated commissioner for about a month, and I voted on the rehearing order for this very project, which was what authorized it to go into construction. And so now to be in my role at the Department of Energy, in which I have input on the export permits, it's nice to have been through the entire cycle of this project from its initial filing to now further export.
Got to ask you to brag on Louisianans for just a second, because when you see increases like that, when you see bumps like that, is this a matter of global circumstances force it, or is it a matter of we know what we're doing?
I would absolutely say you know what you're doing. Look, I'm happy to brag on Louisianans. I do it all the time, not even by invitation. So if you look at the human capital that has developed in Louisiana to support these industries, it's another success story of an extremely rapid expansion over a very short period of time. The fact that Louisiana has been the preferred site for this many export terminals shows that it's not just a good regulatory environment or a good commercial opportunity, but also that they have the people and the skill to build these facilities and operate them. And that is, I think, obvious on inspection.
James Danley, Deputy Secretary for Energy for the United States, is on with us for a couple more minutes. Let's talk about this increase, this 13% increase, and what, like, boots on the ground, like when it comes to actual personnel, people working and whatnot. What does this mean for Louisiana workers, and conversely, or no, to go along with that, what does it mean for Louisiana communities?
Well, I mean, it certainly is going to increase the total amount of natural gas export from Louisiana, and it's going to increase the number of jobs and the total amount of revenue. So that those are all good economic outcomes. The other thing is that more broadly, the more export capacity we have, the more we're going to see stability in global gas markets, and we want to see as much of that as possible, right? The more supply you have with trusted regular counterparties like American LNG exporters that can be relied upon to honor their contracts and their commitments, the better it is for every consumer across the world. So Louisiana becomes more prosperous, and the world benefits from Louisiana's exports.
I've got two more for you before we get you out of here, and I greatly appreciate your time this morning. Let's talk about Plaquemines Parish and not just the how, but the why. They're such an energy asset to the country. I mean, we know what's pumping out of there, but it's the there that's important.
I'm not really sure what you mean. The reason why it is absolutely welcoming to businesses that you have a community that's generally enthusiastic about seeing prosperity, right? This is not an area that has historically opposed good jobs in highly technical fields with massive geopolitical repercussions. In fact, everything I've ever seen when we've done the community engagement, like back when I was at the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, was broad enthusiasm from everybody to see as much development as possible. Right? It's a welcoming location for people who want to do big things, these almost Victorian style public work projects that are landscape changing economically.
Yeah, let me re-ask the question a little bit better, because I was talking about not just the who, but the where, and the geographically speaking, Plaquemines Parish has so many benefits, but also the infrastructure we've built out.
Of course, yeah. I mean, so I'm sorry. I'm sure I just misunderstood you. Sorry about that. So the Louisiana generally is a regulatorily permissive environment for the development of infrastructure, especially when it comes to oil and gas. And when you have a big, a giant beast of a project like this that has massive offtake requirements in order to function properly, you want to be somewhere where you can be assured of the inputs necessary, not the most obvious, of course, being the natural gas that's going to be liquefied and then sent overseas. Louisiana has extremely robust internal infrastructure, and on top of that, the topology of the location is perfect for an LNG terminal, which is why it's located there, right? So it's a mixture of topology, natural gas infrastructure, and the willingness and enthusiasm of the people in the region to join in the effort.
Last one before we get you out of here, and this is going to be a little bit more, hypothetical, a little bit more of a guess. But you look at Venture Global, you look at Plaquemines Parish, you look over in the Lake Charles area with Woodside. Do we have a ceiling?
I mean, if you're asking me, is there a limit to the amount of demand the world has for American LNG? I suppose theoretically there is a limit to it, simply because everything in the universe is finite. But I see no limit to the amount of LNG that the world is willing to consume. I mean, when you think about the fact that fossil fuels and natural gas in particular are fundamental inputs, not just as people think about it for the production of electricity, but it's also used for feedstock for any number of different products that are produced in the chemical space. It's also a source of primary heat for every industrial function. And because we have so much of it, and we've really gotten this process of liquefaction and production of LNG and shipping it down to a science, we were able to compete competitively, or we were able to be competitive on price across the world, even though we have to ship it across the ocean. The world is energy poor, and we are here as a country to fill that gap. And we want to see as much of that wealth, shared with the world as we can. And I don't see any articulable upward limit to the amount of LNG we can send overseas. I mean, as I said, we're doubling the export capacity over the remarkable dramatic increase of the last decade. And the reason that's happening is because there is demand worldwide.
He's Deputy Energy Secretary James Danley. We always appreciate the time. Enjoy New Orleans while you're down there. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks. I was going to squeeze in a live read.
Now you're really behind.
Yeah. What do you? I'm sorry. Are you looking for batteries? First floor closet should have them.
Oh, okay. Thank you. You didn't have to bring it to me. He's the best.
He really is. Come on in. Till we're back in 2 minutes. Yeah.
My bad, Brian. Now I'll put you really behind.
Well, industry makes was the perfect segue for right there. Yeah. No, that's all right.
Because it was doing this. It was giggling. I'm like, I'm due for a battery. I love how I'll literally just text him and then he comes right up. Older code, I mean, to
How are you, sir? How late the party go last night? Yeah. No, absolutely. Appreciate the invite.
Hi, good morning. I'm Bree. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. That's okay.
It's all good. It happens. So, how did you get connected with Mark Vincent?
When he was at
Rebel,
yeah, they did a lot of our work in my last job at CCA. We did most of our big stuff with them, and he was just always down on the spot.
Guy hustles. He hustles. So he's my absolute brother. Love him. Yeah. So this is. Yeah. Well, keep it on the down low because I think he's still under. Yeah. I mean, within the room, all fine, but like other things, yes, yeah. But that particular project kind of crosses some streams. I was talking to him on the way home last night. So his oldest and my oldest started in pre-K together at Our Lady of Mercy. Wyatt and Miles Carey, they started in pre-K in the same class in pre-K. They were in the same class in K, same class in 1, different classes in 2, and then same class in 3rd and 4th before you start going to all the classes in 5th. And then now they're both at Southern Miss together. So, and they have the best, it's like a brother-sister relationship. So, yeah, Mark and Karen, we've been super tight with them our entire time at Mercy. So, 819 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Man, I want to follow up on that conversation with James Danley and greatly appreciate his time. But he's talking about Louisiana's impact on the globe. He's talking about Louisiana's impact on our own wallets as well. And all that circles back around to the message that comes out of Industry Makes. IndustryMakes.org is the website if you want to learn more. But what James Danley was talking about right there is the impact that we have when you talk about industry in Louisiana, specifically on LNG. We're going to get into it with the Louisiana Chemistry Association. I didn't say that wrong. Going to get into that with David Cresson in just a quick second. But at every turn, when you see news like that, you see protests against it. You see misinformation coming out against it. Who's standing back up and saying, no, we're getting it right and we're leading the world in this? IndustryMakes.org. If you want to be an ambassador, they've got an ambassador's toolkit right there on the website. IndustryMakes.org. It's the return serve when the protests come down. IndustryMakes.org. All right, David Cresson is on with us with the Louisiana Chemistry Association, part of the rebrand. Had the open house or the grand opening last night. Welcome back to the show. How are you?
Thanks for having me, Brian. Always good to be here.
Now, glad to have you on. Let's talk a little bit about the rebrand and the new look.
Yeah, well, thank you for coming last night, and we really had a wonderful event where we opened our new office. We dedicated our new boardroom to Dan Bornay, the longtime voice of Tiger Stadium, and who was one of my predecessors at Louisiana Chemistry Association. Big crowd, as you saw, and part of that event was that we unveiled a rebrand. We are now the Louisiana Chemistry Association, which it took a lot of time and effort to get through that process. But the bottom line is at our facilities, at our member companies across the state, what they are doing is chemistry. And so, sure, people talk about how the word chemical has a bit of a connotation to it. And, that might have had a little piece to why we did what we did. But it was really more to represent more closely what our members are doing. They're doing science. They're doing chemistry in these facilities. Every square inch of these places is about chemistry. And so that we thought that the name more closely reflected what we do on a daily basis. And so we went ahead and made the switch.
So I like the switch because when you talk about chemical, you're talking about a finished product.
That's right.
You're pivoting over to talk about the work that's being done, and the work that's being done is by the people doing the work. So it's more, the new brand is more encompassing of the who and not the what.
Yeah. And look, it's going to take some time. People are going to still want to call us the Louisiana Chemical Association. That's okay. It comes with the territory. But if we are being honest about who we are, we're scientists. We're doing chemistry. We're doing science at these places. Amazing technology that's going on. And so we just feel like it's a better representation of who we are.
100%. Now, it covers a lot of ground, though.
Yeah,
the chemistry does cover a lot of ground. So let's dive into a little bit about, and I want to circle back to Dan Bornay before we're done.
Sure.
But let's talk a little bit about what's going on within the legislative session. What do you have your eyes on?
Well, there's lots of things. I think the obvious one is carbon capture, and I know you've been talking a lot about it the last couple of days. But before we talk about that, I would like to mention all the good workforce initiatives that are going on at the legislature right now. There are several bills that deal with the oncoming issue that we have here in the state of Louisiana around our workforce. As we talk about all these new projects that are coming, all the investments that are coming to the state, $120 million, $1 billion, I believe it is up to now. How are we going to fill those roles that come as part of those projects with Louisiana workers? And if we don't fill them with Louisiana workers, then we've missed an opportunity. And so we've got to prepare our workforce. We've got to give that workforce the ability to get trained, get over the barriers towards that training, and provide the very best training we possibly can. And so there's bills that are at the legislature right now, a wide variety of bills that help us create that path towards a trained workforce that we're going to need for these jobs. All of them are in a very good position so far. A couple of them have been heard in committee, and we're proud that they've passed favorably. But we need to make sure we get some of these to the finish line. If we look up in 10 years and the jobs that are being created by all this investment are not filled at a pretty high rate by local Louisiana folks, then we've missed the boat, and that would be a shame. So we've got to handle it now.
There's a two parts to the equation, though, and the other part is bringing people back home again.
That's right, no doubt about it.
It's great to fill up with locals, but we've seen a brain drain. We've seen a depletion of population. I would like to get a 7th congressional district back.
Yeah. 100%. I've been here my whole life. I've been in Louisiana 54 years, and what is the one thing we always hear about losing young people to the rest of the country. Well, now we have an opportunity for the first time, I think, in my life, maybe yours too, where we've got all this excitement around the state. We've got all this this investment coming. We've got an opportunity to bring people back. And if we miss this opportunity that we have right here in front of us, then we're going to look back and really regret it. So let's let's get our folks back here in Louisiana. Let's put the ones that are here to work as well. It would be a shame if we look at these job sites over the next 5-10 years and you see license plates from all around the country. We need Louisiana license plates filling these parking lots. And we plan to.
The license plates from all over the country would be good for short-term leases and nothing else.
That's
you know,
right. Yeah,
rebuilding back within our own populace, our own infrastructure is the goal here. Now let's talk about the build outs here. They're building that workforce. I mean, some legwork has to be done on that front. What is being pushed right now, and how long does it take to implement?
Yeah, I think some of it is ready to go as we speak. We've got a phenomenal LCTCS program going on around the state with the new secretary, Richard Nelson. He's got some big ideas in mind. Look, they need funding. There's no doubt about it. They need trainers. It's one thing to have prospective students that are ready to go to work, get trained, go to work, but you have to have folks to train them. There's some bills at the legislature right now that would give companies incentives to provide trainers. Now, this would be on the dime of those companies. They would be paying these trainers to come in, but provide some incentives to those companies to provide these very experienced people to come in and train the new workforce. We've got to provide young people or more experienced people who have barriers to getting trained, some ways to get through those barriers. For instance, there might be a young mother out there that would like to go to work during the day, but then go get trained at night for a job in industry, but maybe has kids at home. Well, how are we going to help her to take care of those kids while she's getting her training? Maybe she doesn't have transportation to and from the school where she would get the training. How do we get past those things? Maybe it's just too expensive for her. How do we get past that as well? And so I think all of those things are going to be discussed this year at the legislature. I think with any luck, we'll get at least some of those through the finish line, and that will set us up for this success moving forward.
We got David Cresson with us. He heads up LCA, the Louisiana Chemistry Association. Lynn, I'm telling you right now, we're going to go long. We're going to go to 8:32 because I ate up some of his time on the front end with Deputy Secretary Danley. So 8:32 is let's get right back into it. There's no way I don't have you in here and not talk carbon capture because it's going to be a topic throughout the legislative session. I mean, is this going to be Game of Thrones over there, or are we starting to see more people just come around to realize the science behind it and the messaging that's the anti-carbon capture messaging that's coming in? I mean, it's coming from some places that I don't know that I would trust them anyway.
Well, I certainly don't, and your listeners certainly shouldn't. Look, there are folks out there that have legitimate questions and want to have the information, and we're more than happy to give it. But I'm sure you read the report from the Pelican Institute. I think you might have even had folks in here.
I had Daniel on.
Yeah. What a great report they put together. And if you can look at that report and then have any doubt about where this influence is coming from, then you really need to take another look. Brian, I'm a conservative person. I've been a conservative person my whole life. My dad had pictures of Ronald Reagan on our walls when I grew up. But the conservative voices we're seeing speak most loudly around the state right now about this particular issue are not the conservatives that I want to be around. That report from Pelican showed how these NGOs, these dark money NGOs are influencing on purpose the conservative voices here in Louisiana, the most right wing, to create this strange bedfellows, to come out against carbon in this case. But look, don't be mistaken. It's going to be LNG next. It's going to be data centers next. It's going to be nuclear next. Whatever the next thing is, they're going to come out against it. It just happens to be carbon right now. But these folks, they're threatening families. They're threatening people's children. They are death threats against legislators. These are not the kind of folks that we need to be doing business with. And so I think people are starting to see through it a little bit. You want to come talk to me, that's fine. But I had a female legislator the other day telling me she is concerned about leaving her house because she's received death threats over this particular issue.
Really?
That's pitiful.
That is.
And we just can't do business like that. If you have real concerns, call me up. We'll talk about it. We'll answer any question you want to. There's plenty of opportunities around the state to go get your questions answered. But when we get to the point where we're threatening people's families, threatening people's children, threatening to kill people, come on, give me a break. I mean, this is not what we're talking about. But back at the legislature, I think we've got a handful of bills that need to die a peaceful death. And if they do, we will be able to move forward as a state. If any of these bills make it very far through the process at all, then we've got some problems.
Well, and we've already seen one project we've lost.
Yeah,
and that's legitimately already happened. Someone is packed up and moved to another state. We missed out on a couple hundred jobs at $80K a job, or I'm guessing on the number on the salary, but a couple hundred jobs because of the mere uncertainty of it.
Yeah.
The fact that we can't commit to selling what the consumer wants.
That's right. The thing these companies need more than anything is certainty, some predictability to what and we are moving the goalposts by changing our opinion on this as we move forward. There are $120 billion worth of investments coming to the state. And I heard Secretary Bourgeois the other day say that she thinks 75 to 80% of those are directly related to having this technology available to us. Are we willing to lose $80-90 billion worth of this investment over misinformation that's coming from dark money from New York and Washington and California?
China.
That's right. Exactly right. Who, by the way, the folks sending this money, they don't care about Louisiana jobs. They don't care about Louisiana folks at all. They don't care about Louisiana. They just care about shutting down the industry that has helped build this state and has us looking in such a positive direction. That's all they care about.
Meanwhile, Houston's looking over going, do it. I dare you to do it again.
Texas is racing to the finish line.
I know.
And then here comes Arkansas, Mississippi. I saw Michigan, has passed some positive legislation recently. These states are coming for us. We were in a very positive position. I think we still are, very much so. We've got an administration that's favorable on all of these issues, and I think overall the legislature is too. We just got to make sure this stuff is nipped in the bud.
He is David Cresson with the Louisiana Chemistry Association. Gonna get you back on very soon for updates as this legislation moves forward.
Absolutely, will do.
Appreciate you coming in this morning.
Thanks for having me.
We are at 7. I told you we would run long. We're at 8:33 at Talk 107.3 FM. So we got a lot of ground still to cover. We're going to come back, talk AI. We're going to talk Emerge Center. We're not done yet. But quick break for local news, traffic, and weather on Talk 107.3.
Thank you, man.
Oh, no, thank you.
Good stuff. Yep. Yeah, I'm getting sick of these people, man.
All right, well, I mean, I haven't been that motivated since I had a defensive coordinator in high school. Like that's.
I'm an old coach.
That's
all right, man. Thank you. Appreciate it. Nice to see you, Brady.
Likewise. Okay. I'm doing well. How long that? Can you hang out for a little bit? Okay. I apologize. Okay, so I'm gonna go 8 minutes with him, and then take a break, and then come back and finish the show with you. That's awesome. All right, we're blowing out your money now. Obviously, we're blowing out this day in history. This one I actually screwed up. So
I know. I told Ellen, I was like, just copy us both, and then we can figure it out. We can always figure it out.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to about
we're
gonna go to about 48, and then take the break.
But skip your money now.
Skip your money now, and then come back and we'll close out with Emerge.
Please,
oh, absolutely.
Have some mugs. Let me know if there's not any. Those are for our guests. Yes. always interviewing. Like,
No, I'm surprised I don't screw up more often with the scheduling, but especially this time of year. But like that, well, because I know the content for sure. It's just a matter of the win.
You gotta be gifted too, Brian. I
Well,
mean, like you have a gift, as well.
thank you. Where are my
Were you always
notes?
just good at interviews? Did it come natural for you?
I knew when I first started in this business that interviews was like if
That was your niche. That was.
I grew up wanting to be Jim Rome or Bob Costas. Like that, those two guys are, I mean, I know they're sports guys, but those are the two of the best interviewers that are out there. I don't think there is a news person who's as good as an interview as Bob Costas is. It's
Cronkite was pretty good.
no, he's a reporter.
I know,
But he was an anchor.
I know, but his interviews went well.
Larry King probably is the number one on the news side.
You know who's actually surprised and really good? Robin Roberts. I like.
Or
her.
Good Morning America.
Yes, I like her. Like in these emotional interviews that she does with people, she's good.
Yeah.
Alan totally misspelled his name.
What?
Well, Walter Cronkite. He goes, however you say it, spell it.
Oh.
Louisiana's big weather can mean big damage to your roof. Our team offers free inspections and guarantees your satisfaction. Call 756-8603 or visit riceandroofing.com. Insurance companies have teams of professionals to fight your claim. If you want to know what your case is really worth, I'm Spencer Callahan. I'd like to know. Spencer Callahan is one to see.
At Gulf Office Products, we do more to provide office equipment. We optimize efficiency for businesses across all industries. As a national
The guy who exposes Nazis.
decades of expertise in education.
Do what?
Alan said, "Are the guy who exposes Nazis?" He said, "I can't remember his name."
The guy who exposes Nazis.
The guy who exposes Nazis. Forget the reporter's name. What?
I don't know.
Talk 1073 weather. Overall, the hard cold is behind us. We're going to get those temps up to 77 degrees under mostly sunny skies. Not a single chance of rain today. Overnight, lows near 53. Friday, by the way, the first day of spring. We're going to get those highs into the lower 80s once again. Mostly sunny skies. Not a single drop of rain will fall from the sky.
Oh, he said back in the day. Okay.
No chance of rain all the way through the middle of next week. I'm meteorologist Caitlin Rogers with your sources. This is Ramsey personality John Maloney, and you're listening to Mornings with Brian Haldane. Today at 1, it's the Ramsey Show. We're talking money, career, mental health, and more on Talk 1073.
Oh. Keeping it moving quickly here on Talk 1073 FM, WBRP, though we are still running a couple minutes behind. Let's dive right in. It's time to talk a little AI. And we want to welcome aboard Doug Kelly from the American Edge Project. Doug, how are you?
Hey, Brian, I'm great. Thank you for having me today.
No, absolutely. Glad to have you on here. Appreciate your patience. Been running a little bit long all morning long. So let's get right into it. AI as an emerging technology. AI is we're all getting our grasp on it. AI is about to come under a lot of scrutiny from Congress, from state legislators, from basically every angle. I want to talk a little bit about what needs to be done in setting the parameters for where we're headed.
Yeah, let me talk first about why it's so important, because I think a lot of times that gets lost in the debate. Artificial intelligence it's a transformational technology, right? It's essentially like electricity, it's like the microchip, et cetera. And it's important that we win in the AI race against China, because whichever country wins is going to have decades advantages in national security, in economic competitiveness, and embedding their values in the globe's digital infrastructure. And that matters to every single state in this country, because if we don't have that leadership edge, China's going to be dictating our future rather than us leaving ours.
Okay, give me the why behind that. Like that is the what, but like, how would they go about it? Give me the how that China would pass us up, because I don't think we quite grasp like just how powerful and how wide-reaching everything is.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So each of our countries is competing for global influence, and technology is not a neutral thing. A country's values are embedded in that technology, and when America builds technology and exports across the globe, it is built on our values of freedom, of opportunity, and transparency. China's technology, and it's been documented repeatedly, is built on censorship, control, and surveillance. So as those technologies spread around the world, they're going to be able to see, okay, is it going to empower people, or is it going to spy on people? Is it going to help people achieve freedom, or is it going to be used to control them overall? And we want to make sure that America and our allies are building off America's technology stack and not China's, because it matters which country builds the future.
Well, because to go along with that is the data behind all of it. When you talk about technology, when you talk about energy, when you talk behavioral patterns, we're all leaving a footprint behind.
100%, Brian. I mean, even more simply, right? If a company builds on a Chinese platform, that data will go back to China. So any intellectual property you have, any business secrets, any trade secrets you have, China's going to get them, and they're going to replicate your product really quickly, and they're going to put you out of business. This has happened time and time again, not just because people are using AI platforms, but when companies went to China to build, manufacturing there, and China would take their property. Like, that's just the way it works. And so for us to make sure that we have an innovation edge here, we have to do three things really well. One, we have to make sure we're building the data centers right here in America that essentially are our AI factories. Number two, we have to make sure that we are giving them the energy to supply them. So it not only powers AI in the data centers, but also all of our other ambitions, from bringing the jobs back from overseas here to other manufacturing needs. And the third thing we need to do, Brian, is we got to make sure we have the talent in enough volume to make sure that we can lead in AI, right? So it's not just like top AI scientists, for goodness sakes, but it's the hundreds of thousands of construction workers, plumbers, pipe fitters, and others who build these data centers and help maintain them and protect them, including cybersecurity experts. All of these are great middle-class paying jobs. And look, at the end of the day, if we don't build data centers, those people don't get employed.
Okay, well, the opposition to data centers is growing very, very quickly. By the way, we're talking with Doug Kelly from the American Edge Project. The opposition to the data centers is growing very, very quickly. They burn off a lot of energy. They use a lot of water, and the opposition to them is getting the message out about what a burden they are on a local neighborhood that's around them. So how do we combat that on the front end?
Yeah, I think one of the challenges is that prevailing narrative about data centers being blamed for energy shortfalls, and that it's just a false narrative, and it gets the story exactly backwards, right? So let's just look at energy for a minute. AI didn't cause our energy challenges in this country. What it did was just expose it. There's been 30 years of government and private sector reports that show our grid is not up to 21st century standards. It hasn't been invested in. A lot of the equipment is old, et cetera. But we have this moment right now with the construction and development of these data centers to do a transformational investment in our energy grid and in generational sources, so that we can power our future and power our ambitions, right? These tech companies have the money to do it, they have the demand, and utilities don't build new generating capacity on speculation, right? They do it when they have customers, right? And so if a state puts on, say, a data center moratorium or something like that, all of a sudden, any ability to build power in that state, there's going to be less of a compelling rationale to do it, because that company's going elsewhere and building it somewhere else. You guys have done a great job, because you have an abundance of energy there, in attracting world-class data centers. That's pulling more talent there. That's going to create enormous local tax revenue. And so, the opponents have an agenda on this, and they want to do things that slow down America's technology innovation. But our history is built on the following. Every 2 to 3 decades, leaders at all levels, state level, federal level, and local levels, are faced with a choice. Are we going to build the generational infrastructure that's necessary to transform our country and our community? We did it with the highway system. We did it with electricity grid in the 50s and 70s, and we did it with the internet. This is that moment right now in AI. AI can be our modern day moonshot moment where we power up energy grid, we create tens of thousands of jobs, and we help position America for leadership for the next 50 years. But the choice is we got to have a bias to building it, Brian. We can't be afraid of building. We have to make sure all the concerns are met. But at the end of the day, if we don't build it, our future is going to be dictated to us. So it's got to be a question of not if we build it, but how do we build this critical infrastructure?
Okay, so building the infrastructure is part of it. The guardrails is the other part, and somewhere between the two is where we tend to run into those roadblocks. The understanding of AI. You talk about the moonshot. Okay, that's a great example right there. When the moonshot was first proposed, we knew what the moon was. But for a lot of people, AI is simply asking ChatGPT for a fun pot roast recipe. And for other people, it's as scary as deep fake videos online that make you think, Donald Trump is dancing in a tutu. So the understanding of what we're looking for here plays a big role in this as well.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about that in terms of what it means. I'll just be some very concrete examples of what it means for people overall for AI. AI means faster healthcare and more accurate healthcare diagnoses, right? Whether it's a radiologist report or whatever. It means faster cures for diseases, things like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. Most every family's had to deal with some versions of those types of diseases. They're accelerating the cures for those things overall. When it comes to education, AI is going to be a game changer. For kids in rural schools who've never had access to a tutor or might not have the best teachers around, AI becomes this hyper tutor who can help them compete just the same as kids that are going to private school. So those are some real world benefits there. Now you also have about 500,000 small businesses in your state that employ more than half the people in the state. Well, AI is a very powerful tool for them because they're often shorthanded. So they're using AI to do inventory. They're using it to write marketing material and other things like that, stuff that they may not have core skills on. And they're doing it to become more profitable and to find more customers. They're not doing it to cut jobs because they only employ 3 or 4 people to start, but there's a lot of small businesses there. So the more they can use American AI tools, the better off we're going to be overall, and the more jobs it's going to create locally.
Last one we got for you this morning, and this is the last conversation to be sure. We're going to get you back on again because, well, AI is not going away. Last one we got for you this morning, though, is how do you cross the bridge between the understanding that you just spelled out, making that apply to everyday Americans versus how often Congress wants to solve a problem before it becomes a problem?
Well, here's the challenge. Like, when the internet was first created, right? There was these dire predictions of it's going to cost a generation of workers. It's going to do all these permanent unemployment, et cetera. Well, employment growth after the creation of the internet skyrocketed. So what Congress did back then was really smart. It said, look, we don't know what this is going to be. We think it's really powerful technology. So we're gonna put a 10-year ban on states regulating the internet. And that was a smart thing to do because what happened is it allowed America to develop its version of the internet that became then the global standard. In a similar way, what President Trump is trying to do is he's trying to say, hey, listen, we want the federal government to make the standards for AI, but states don't regulate the AI models. What states should do instead is invest in increasing our talent pool, increasing our ability to generate and transmit electricity, and help embrace these data centers so we build our AI factories all across America. If we do that, that allows our innovators to innovate and compete. It allows the federal government to operate under a single playbook for AI, and it gives the states a meaningful role to help accelerate this new technology, which we invented to start with. Yeah. We invented artificial intelligence and allow us to become the global leader going forward for the next 50 years.
All right, the conversation's not over, but the segment is. We got to get you back on real soon. Doug Kelly with the American Edge Project. Thank you for a couple minutes this morning.
Hey, thanks, Brian. Appreciate it.
Always. We are due up for a break. Take a quick break, come back. Puzzle projects coming up. We'll talk with the Emerge Center next. I only have one more.
Oh, damn! I thought you were blind.
No, I wrapped 2 of them around David. I just got to bang out Guarantee Health and I'm good.
AI will put real estate agents out of work as well. Oh, you meant oh well. Okay.
Huh?
Alan said, we'll put real estate agents out of work. Do you think?
No, I don't. No.
No. There's too much going on with that. That AI just can't do.
I don't know. I think it would help real estate agents on the front end. Oh. Come on in. Oh.
Good. How are you doing? I'm good.
You're gonna be right here.
Okay.
I apologize. The chair's going to try to run away from you when you
okay.
sit on it.
Get a running start. I'm pretty cold. So.
It's Emily, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And we're live on Facebook right now.
Yeah, yeah, we're always on Facebook. So. Mm. Christy texted me earlier. She says, "What have you got tonight?" I was like, "Nothing. I absolutely have nothing." Yeah, it's
finally.
There's hasn't been a night this week that I haven't been home before 9.
Jeez.
Yeah.
9 is rough.
Well, and my day starts at I walk through the door
I
at
was going to
5.
say. Well, thank y'all for making some time for us.
No, of course.
Take your wife out for dinner.
No.
No.
You just want to go
Where's
home.
yeah.
Just wants to sit.
Just go get on the couch.
Yep.
You might actually be able to get decent sleep down.
I get good sleep. It's not long, but it's decent. Oh.
Should I move this closer to me? Or?
Yes, absolutely. Right on.
Okay.
Guiding healthcare forward. That's what it says right there on the homepage for guaranteehealth.com. Guaranteehealth.com. You want to learn a little more? Well, I'll keep reading. We help healthcare providers grow by infusing clinical operations with hospitality-inspired service standards, optimizing your practice while improving patient experience. Guaranteehealth.com. If you work in a medical office, specialty office, general practitioner, urgent care, whatever the case might be, you might want to give Guarantee Health a look. Is the front of your office and the back of your office in alignment? Is your patient relationship on top of its game? Is your marketing being held down? The answers to all these things are at guaranteehealth.com. I'd love to walk you through a little bit with them, get to know them a little bit more, and see how they can help you and your medical office thrive in this environment. And, oh, by the way, your patients are going to come first in this whole equation. Learn more at guaranteehealth.com. All right, before we get out of here, the Emerge Center's got their Project Puzzle going on right now. In fact, we're getting close towards the end of raffle ticket sales. Emily Lemoyne is with us. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well. Thanks for having us.
Glad to have you on here. Before we talk about what Project Puzzle is, for those that don't know I can't believe anybody in Baton Rouge wouldn't know what the Emerge Center is yet, but for those that don't know Emerge, give us the reintroduction.
For those that don't know Emerge, we were originally known as Baton Rouge Speech and Hearing Foundation, and we've been around since 1960, serving children and families with autism.
Project Puzzle. is a big deal on y'all's calendar. Walk me through what it is and why it's Project Puzzle.
Project Puzzle is a huge fundraiser for Emerge. We are a nonprofit organization. This is a community-wide raffle campaign where we raise essential funds to continue providing art therapy and services. Through this campaign, it's actually quite fun. We are asking people to consider buying $25 raffle tickets, and this offers you a chance at one of 6 really, really awesome prizes.
Taking a look at those prizes, and you're not overselling when you say awesome. A $25 raffle ticket puts you in the running for free canes for a year. Head to toe refresh. This is you know what? This is not for me for sure. House of Color, Evolution, Honey Nail Studio. So that package is going on. 2 custom shirts from Harper's Haberdashery. I got a couple of shirts from Harper's.
Nice shirts.
Yeah. City Club of Baton Rouge, 3-month membership, offshore fishing trip for 6 people, or $2,500 cash. That's 1,000 times return on investment right there. If you win that prize. So yes, 6 fantastic prizes on the table for just a $25 raffle ticket. Why a puzzle?
Well, for a long time, the autism community has looked at Project Puzzle. We started it around COVID as a way to raise funds in a time where we couldn't all meet in person. Things are changing slightly, but the puzzle piece has been looked at as a way to kind of symbolize for us that this fundraiser is a piece of Emerge's puzzle in a way. Like, we can't do what we do without raising essential funds, and we wouldn't be able to provide to our community what we do without fundraisers. So we're excited about this one.
Going back to the Emerge Center for just a minute before we get around to where folks can get their raffle tickets. Going back to the Emerge Center, y'all's growth and really the growth of awareness about what autism is and how it affects different people differently, that has grown greatly over like the last half decade at the very least, probably a little bit earlier than that. But talk to me a little bit about how the Emerge Center applies what you know, what you do to make sure you hit the broad, I apologize for the play on words, but
that's okay.
Hit the broadest spectrum of people out there.
Right. So you're very right in saying that awareness is obviously on the rise. With that being said, the prevalence of autism is also on the rise. Just last year, the statistic was updated from 1 in 36 children to 1 in 31 children who may have autism.
Now, wait, hang on. Is that a growth of autism or a growth of diagnosis?
It's a growth of diagnosis.
Yeah.
So it, depending on how you would look at it, and that could be because the prevalence is on the rise. It's also because as a society, we are a lot better at testing and doing evaluations, and Emerge comes into the picture because our priority is early intervention therapy. And that's what makes Emerge unique.
Which goes into the overall equation of making sure you're maximizing the potential of the people.
Exactly. And we want to make sure that every child's journey is incredibly unique. Every child that comes into Emerge has an individual education plan. Our therapists meet with their families to make sure that every child is set up for success and confident, bright, happy futures.
We have got 40 seconds left. Where do folks need to go to purchase their raffle tickets?
To purchase your Project Puzzle raffle ticket, you can visit emergela.org, and you'll find where to buy tickets really easily on our homepage.
It's super simple on the homepage. You'll see the puzzle pieces, and then right under that is going to be the little purchase tickets tab. Emergela.org, emergela.org. Emily, I appreciate you stopping by this morning.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We're all done for today, y'all. Moon Griffon's coming up next. Can tell you tomorrow's show going to be almost as busy as today's show. And we might have a little fried catfish as well for Foodie Friday. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
much.
much.
I appreciate you waiting. I know that was a quick 6 minutes.
No worries at all. No worries.
Facebook, we got to get out of here. We'll see y'all tomorrow.